A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Washington. This is the state of play 12 months ago. Thankfully, no longer the case. A year ago, this was the scene here at the Sky Lounge, as it's now known, and some investment by the world number one, Mark Farnsworth, and his business partner has turned this into one of the premier pool venues in the Northeast. We are here at the Sky Lounge for week 2 of the IPA Pool Champions Cup here on FreeSports. We're here in Washington this week, we're in Cardiff next, and we are all around the country over the next 21 weeks as we seek to find the champion of this competition. Plenty coming up tonight, and we're looking forward to bringing you week 2. And as we can see there, our two players are ready. They are Ronan McCarthy and Stuart Wright, both prepared to take on their very first match of the evening. We'll have a second match coming up later, Brian Halcrow versus Lee Ray. The winner of both matches will move on to tonight's final and move into the next round of the Champions Cup. Ahead of the competition this evening, and indeed our first match between Ronan and Stuart, let's see what the two players had to say. Ronan, a very warm welcome to Washington. How much are you looking forward to tonight?
I'm really looking forward to it because so I've played on TV before but never live, so that's my first real live experience. So yeah, looking forward to it, and I've been putting a lot of practice in, so hopefully I do okay.
And in terms of your supporters back home in Northern Ireland, are they all tuning in tonight?
There'll be loads watching, and I have a wee baby girl now, and she's watching tonight, and she'll be up kissing the screen and all the rest of it. So I've actually got a video on her watching the screen, watching me. So no, it's all good. There's plenty watching tonight. Yeah.
And I hear it was your birthday yesterday. How much would a win tonight be in terms of a birthday present?
Yeah, it would be nice. It'd be nice because I had a nice day yesterday with the family, and I hopefully get to win the night just to sort of top it all off. Yeah, be good.
And in terms of your match, playing the qualifier tonight, first time playing him, how do you approach a match like that?
Just the same way as I approach every other match. Put plenty of practice in and sort of do the right things, keep yourself right, and get plenty of sleep, and hopefully play well on the night.
Well, we hope so for you. Wish you all the best.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, welcome to Washington. I know you only live 10 minutes up the road, so not too far for you to come. How excited are you to be here in the Champions Cup?
Very excited, to be honest. I'm looking forward to the game. Looking forward to playing Ronan. So I'm looking forward to it.
And in terms of being the qualifier into this event, Ronan's obviously a very tough game for yourself, but are you just here to attack?
Yeah, I'm just going to give it a go. I mean, I'll try my best. That's all I can do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the game.
And I know you brought a few friends and family down with you as well. How special a moment is that for you?
Very special to have the friends and family here to watch us play. So yeah, it's good, brilliant.
And we can't wait to watch you. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks very much.
So lovely words from Ronan and Stuart there. Stephen Jameson here with you on the commentary, joined by James Hannay alongside me. James, how excited are you to be up here in Washington?
Very much so, thank you. It's going to be a great evening of pool, I'm sure, and this is a cracker of a first match for us now.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And yourself in the draw later on in a couple of weeks. We're looking forward to seeing you here on FreeSports when we move down to Cardiff. Mm-hmm. Are you using this as a potential scouting opportunity?
I think so. I'm going to try and learn as much as I can. Be trying to get used to the gold corner table, and I think it's just get a feel for the atmosphere and see what it's all about, really.
Yeah, we saw last week here on FreeSports Mark Farnsworth, the world number one, who coincidentally owns this venue, the Sky Lounge, taking the first win on week 1 of the Champions Cup. He moves himself into the next round. There is Ronan McCarthy, the man from Northern Ireland. Flew over this morning. He's had a very relaxing day, enjoyed a swim, and keeping himself fresh and fish, or even fresh and fit for the match tonight.
I'm sure he'd have said it the same way. he could have swum across.
He could indeed. I wouldn't put it past him.
No.
So it will be Stuart to break. Stuart, the qualifier, local qualifier, lives just 10 minutes down the road, and that's walking distance from this venue. Local man from Washington. Break is ever so important in the 8-ball game. And he's looks like he's going to come up dry in that one there, Stuart.
Oh, he has.
Not the greatest start for him. He's a little bit unlucky as well because he's got a great spread.
Yeah, that's pretty much apart from the 2 yellows up in baulk by the cushion. Yellow's a very clean-cut opportunity for Ronan here.
Yeah, one of those breaks where you're delighted to come to the table as the opponent spread very, very nicely. And Ronan here will just take his time. Any problem areas that you can spot here, James?
I think really the 2 yellows up at the top, in the top right-hand corner. The one furthest from the pocket, I don't believe passes the one by the cushion. So Ronan's going to have to. It definitely doesn't. So he's going to be looking to try and drop this ball into the top corner and leave himself right on the baulk cushion. Really, he wants the ball by the middle bag as his last ball because that would be a lovely shot to be on the black. So this is delicate now. You want it to be a little bit straighter. So you'd just be dropping that in. Oh, we just heard the 30-second chime. So
yeah, the shot clock is in operation here. Each player given 45 seconds on the shot clock. You'll see it behind you there, ticking down. Looks like it's a little bit over-eager, the shot clock this evening.
That's down to 10, yeah. So he was in his last 10 seconds. So Ronan's left the white perfect now. You just want to screw back out to roughly where he is.
Now, as you mentioned there, James, I don't think this was his number 1 route, but he's adapted very nicely. Doesn't really want to leave himself on the cushion.
Not true. He'll probably be playing the black into the bottom right pocket now, as we see, because of that. So the white come across the table. A little bit more. But yeah, that was simply because he wasn't straight on that ball to the top left pocket.
He'll still back himself to pot this, but it could have been left a lot easier for Ronan McCarthy.
There we go.
But in it goes. That's frame number 1 over in no time at all for Ronan McCarthy. Nicely done.
That's what happens when you break dry against one of the top players in the world.
And as we mentioned, Stuart, more than a touch unfortunate to come up dry from what was actually a pretty good break.
Yeah, he struck it very well. Balls flying all around the table, but unfortunately none of them found one of those 6 holes. So as easy as that, Ronan. So Ronan's got his break cue ready. You won't be seeing a tap break here. He's got that special cue. Going to give it a wallop.
He really will. Most important shot in 8-ball is the break, which is a source of great frustration, I know, for many players because it can be so unpredictable.
Pardon the pun, but it is definitely make or break with the break. He eager. Here we go. Straight down the middle. These fast tables, a lot of players at the World Championships are taking the side break option because the balls are spreading very easily, but so one of each there. One red, one yellow.
And if you're not familiar with the rules of 8-ball that we're playing here, it's not necessarily the same rules that you'd play maybe down your local, a little bit different. This is essentially a free shot regardless of what balls he pot from the break.
That's correct.
If he'd potted 2 yellows, it doesn't necessarily have to be yellows. He can choose reds if need be. This is a free shot regardless of the break for Ronan.
Exactly.
And the other main difference is the element of the skills shot, of course.
Oh, the skill shot, yes. So adds to the excitement of the game. Means you've got less places to hide. Covering pockets doesn't guarantee you no one can bond into that bag.
Yeah, absolutely. So the skill shot you might see used tonight, it means as long as you pot your own ball, it doesn't matter if you pot your opponent's. So covering pockets isn't necessarily the greatest strategy to use. It's still used, of course.
Ooh, yes, yep.
Skill shots do require an element, a huge element of skill to pull off, but
yes,
it's not total safety.
That's right. It's the closer your ball is to your opponent's ball over the pocket, the more difficult the skill shot is. So that's something that these players look out for. But Ronan's looking to go yellows.
And He looks very, very smooth. Taken a couple of very difficult pots early on and just made them look absolutely routine. It looks like he's in good form here, Ronan.
Yeah, definitely. Found the centre of the pocket with a couple of tough little cutbacks. That black in the last frame was a tough shot, and he found the dead centre.
And we noticed actually in the action we saw last week, even with a player like Mark Farnsworth, the world number one, he took a little bit of time to get into his stride, and we sometimes see that with the new table and with the live TV element. It does take players a little bit of time to get used to it, but not this man.
No, Ronan's going to just connect the dots here, play this furthest right one, just drop it in, leave the yellow into the same pocket. He's potting this one as his last ball, so used all the bucket there. So he may not have been perfect on this one now. He may have to, he's going to have to play the one. He wanted to be straight on the one behind the black, really, but now he's going to have to play this one and swing round. He's not sure. It's all how you see it when you're at the table.
Yeah, this isn't an easy shot. Doesn't want to make contact with any ball, really, and that's why, but I think he's just about got away with that.
Yeah, he played the cannon on perfect, but he wanted to hit full ball, but he should be okay. There we go. And plumb perfect, as straight as you could be.
That is absolutely arrow straight, isn't it? He's started this game on fire, Ronan McCarthy. That's 2-zip in no time at all.
2-zip and a dry break, so I'd have felt a bit aggrieved if I'd driven 2 hours to get here, but 10 minutes is not so bad.
Well, 10-minute walk just for Stuart Wright, but this is where you have to feel a little bit of sympathy for Stuart, because he really hasn't put a foot wrong, essentially, and he finds himself 2-0 down.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if he had broken dish the first frame, he'd still be levels. So,
Who'd be a pool player, right?
Yes, it's an easy life.
Here we take a look at the recent tournament history for Ronan McCarthy. Had a good time of it in the British Open towards the end of last year. Won the final against Simon Ward, who was the finalist in the World Championships recently in Bradford, which we saw live on FreeSports. And he was in the European Professional final as well. Had a really good last 12 months or so for Ronan McCarthy.
Deciding frame loss in that one to Clint Hansen, so that's such a very, very close to the title. As close as you can get. He's always there or thereabouts, Ronan. He's been there for many years as well. One of the most consistent players you'll find.
Yeah, he'd have been a little bit disappointed with his performance in Bradford going out in round 2, but as we saw throughout that championships, everyone was beating everyone. And Stuart Wright gets a ball down from the break. He'll be pleased with that.
Yes, definitely. Yes, that yellow drops in the middle bag. He'll be hoping this yellow he's nearest to will pass the red to the middle. If it does, then that's going to be his chosen ball, because the other yellows are in the middle of the table. Doesn't look happy about it. So
yeah, judging by that facial expression, I'm going to guess that it doesn't. In which case, again, you might just be a little bit unlucky here. It's not the easiest lie.
No, 2 reds on the cushion, and all the yellows in the middle of the table. It puts added pressure on you. If you miss one, then it looks like it does go. So have to top through. Oh, that's a good starter.
So any problem areas here on yellows that you can see here, James?
Not now, no, really. Everything goes. We'll just be looking to drop into the middle bag. Come back up for the 2 on the left-hand side of the table, because they would have been a slight problem for him. The one nearest bulk now will go to the top right pocket, or the top left, but it wouldn't go past the red to the left centre, so he needs to try and clear that one as soon as possible. He's thinking about playing it now. He's going to go to the
Shot clock
centre.
there, just tick underneath 30 seconds, just an indicator that these players don't have a huge amount of time to think about their problems.
That's right. Now that's a clever shot. So you just roll the ball into the left centre, and maybe stun back to play the second last yellow into the top left pocket. Yep, perfect.
And good to see Stuart straight into his potting here, which is
Definitely.
really good to see, because it would have been very easy for him as the qualifier to be a little bit rabbit in headlights almost, especially with the start that he's had, but
Very much so. Yeah.
into his rhythm really nicely.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
2 more pots then for Stuart Wright to get his first frame on the board. Been a high quality start.
Yes, and the black passes the red into the bottom corner. Should he wish to come across table after this yellow?
Oh, and I put the cursor in just as I said it had been a high quality start. That is a bad miss for Stuart Wright to be kicking himself.
Yeah, he tried to manufacture position for the black into the centre. Played it with lots of right hand side, and that's why the white's gone off to the left and pushed the pot to the right. So Ronan's chance now. You just tidy things up and try and put Stuart in a bit of bother.
Yeah, that's a clever shot from Ronan. And it's moved his problem ball on the left cushion as the player of reds, but it's also given a snooker to Stuart Wright. It's not the problem won't be hitting it. It's about them being able to stop Ronan from potting his next one.
Exactly. It's hitting it, keeping it out in the open. If he hits it and puts it onto a cushion safe, then Ronan will be very happy to develop a ball and run for cover again. So see how Stuart plays this.
Now each player does get a 30-second extension should they wish to use it. Looks like Stuart's just going to play straight away. Oh, I think that's actually about as good as outcome as he could possibly have got.
It is, yeah. It's left Ronan a tricky one. He may be forced into playing one of the two together just outside ball. Okay, he's going to try and screw down behind this red then.
Delicate little shot, this.
Oh. It's not snookered, but he can't cut that back to the corner, so too much of a cut. So developed a ball, left Stuart with no pot on.
You can almost see it full ball, but I think you're quite right, the angle far too much to think about the cut. And the double kiss was an interesting development, but it has put another one of Ronan's balls on the cushion. Player of Ronan's quality, you wouldn't underestimate him from this position.
What Ronan will do, make sure the pot and then get the ball off the centre of balk and snooker using the two. There we go. So Ronan will push the ball to the centre of the balk cushion now and leave Stuart snookered with the two reds in the middle of the table. That's what he'll be looking to do. Definitely didn't try to pot that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just leave it for later.
Yes.
And now Stuart again in a little bit of trouble.
That's right. I mean, Ronan definitely tried to block that pocket as well because he knew that Stuart's likely escape would be bringing the white down past this red and then trying to hit the yellow up the rail, and that would have been his option. So good shot from Ronan, and that has worked out very well for Stuart. So
yeah, it's an interesting tactical frame, this. That ball hovering over the pocket is absolutely perfect for Stuart. Whether he was intending to play that, I can't be 100% sure, but it's probably what he was looking at.
yeah, I mean the way he's played it, Ronan can easily get the red just up the rail behind it, so just hit it into the cushion. Oh, that's a slack one there from Ronan.
Now, can Stuart Wright see this ball? If he can, he's in business. He's having a good old look at it. It's tight, isn't it?
You will watch him elevate the butt of the cue here and play it with a trace of bottom left, just to swerve the white enough, because all he needs to do is stop the white where the yellow is for the black into the centre. That's tough.
See there, the referee getting a good look at it.
I mean, he's asked whether it's a total snooker or not, but to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think he's going to struggle hitting the cushion after. So referee's just getting another white out, putting it behind the yellow. Now he's not putting it square on the yellow, but he's putting it behind so he can see the edge of the yellow clearly. So we'll now look. That makes it easier to call whether it's a total snooker or not, just gives him a better sideline. And it's not a total snooker.
So he can see the ball.
Yeah, he'll play this with, elevate the cue a bit and play it with bottom left. So look at the right side as we're looking now.
Big shot, this.
What's this spin? Oh, he's not played it enough. that surprised me.
Good opportunity. It really was, and it would have been the frame.
Yes.
Pretty certain of that. You can see where he was on the black. You just wonder with the player of Ronan McCarthy's ability if he'll get another shot.
That's a nice shot. Brown's played there. Cushion first, just to bring the wide across. Yeah, it's very well played.
And from here, it's difficult to see Ronan McCarthy missing another.
All he wants to do off these top two reds, he'll be looking to play the bottom left one last as he sees it. So, he's playing it now, but he would have tried not to be straight on the one by the yellow. That would have been key. He'll play that as his last board, imagine. Just screw straight back at the table for them by his hand. There we go.
Cued that really nicely because it's very easy to miss those shots when you're playing them with screw down the rail.
Oh, definitely. And awkward bridging.
Just an indicator into how well Ronan McCarthy's cueing. You see it there.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
another
there we go.
beautiful shot.
That's spot on. So just gently roll this down and let the white go towards the yellow for the black into the left centre, or will he screw up the table? So Ronan, he does it either way.
And this will hurt Stuart as well because pool players are very used to the notion that sometimes it is just down to lady luck and they might not always get a shot. But Stuart right there had an opportunity to win that frame and passed it up, and Ronan McCarthy is one to punish you for doing that.
Certainly is. Yeah, he's been around a long time, very experienced. Yeah, he knows all the ways of making the most of an opportunity.
Well, you see Stuart Wright's recent tournament history and plenty of amateur competitions. He's a player that hasn't gone too far in them, but seems to be very well regarded. James.
Yeah, he is a very good player. I mean, you can see. I mean, Gaz Higgins 7-3 in the UK Amateur last year. That was a tough one for him. But players like Cole Bedford's a world champion, and so 7-5. It's no shame. He's a very good player. I've seen him around.
As I mentioned, that one will have hurt him. He can only look at himself to blame. But still a little way to go. We are in a race to 6, so it's not all over just yet. And Ronan breaking gets one down, and that's sometimes how the break can go, because objectively that's not the greatest break, but a ball down
It gives you a chance.
And it gives you a chance.
Yeah.
Compare that to Stewart's, which is
Exactly.
far more open. The first one didn't get one down.
No, that's right. And difficulty is Ronan would rather be reds from this situation, but he can't get to one. So unless he, what's he trying to make here? What's he seen? Oh, there we go. Look at that. Now that's unfortunate. He was trying to develop that yellow as well. So he's looking at the plant to the right centre. The yellow down the rail first of all. But he's got two little problem areas, those two pairs of yellows stuck together. He dealt with one of them straight away.
That's a brilliant shot.
It is, because there was more angle to that shot. So if he played that naturally, it's just lining up where he needs to hit the first yellow to plant these two to the centre. So it's a fine cut on the first yellow.
Yeah, it's not the easiest shot, this.
Cannon white into the red. Oh, across it. So
he's playing really nicely here, Ronan McCarthy. Still yet to miss a shot.
yeah, I mean, 2 shots ago he had 2 problem areas and he's cleared them both straight away. So lovely cue in there, lovely cue in. So the one down the left side, screw the white back just past where it is now, to leave him quite straight on the one down the right side for the one at the bottom as his last yellow. Just looking at the angle. So we're looking to screw back up table to just short of his hand. A little bit further than that. Now we're going to have to top this through off the red. This white will flick off the red to go down table. There we go.
Yes, well done. And positioning on the black should be routine. I think he's just about got enough angle. Screws back. Has he left himself short? He has, I think.
Short, yes.
Yeah, there you see it. I wonder if he can potentially see enough of the ball to double it into the opposite middle pocket. Might be his only option here.
If he can. No, he looks like he can get a fine edge, but he's going to hit it straight to the cushion, so he needs a little bit more. He's just going to nick off it and put the white to the bulk. Really, I think that's his only option. Yes, he couldn't quite get enough. So Stuart's got the opportunity to snooker Ronan here by playing the red along the bottom towards the pocket and snooker with the two reds together.
Do you think he was going for the pot there, James?
I think he was going for the double or the triple if it was too narrow. And I don't think he'd have played it that hard if he was trying to contain. But Stuart's got the opportunity to snooker him now. There we go. Just push that. Didn't try to pot it. Just playing the snooker.
And of course, with any safety battle, the more balls you've got on the table, the better your advantage.
Oh, yes.
And Ray McCarthy is at a serious disadvantage here.
He is, yes. Yeah, so Stuart's got options here. He could drop this red into the centre and then look at a way of... He's really looking for a way of splitting the two together. If he can split those, or if the top one goes to the right centre, get around the back. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, he won't be too fussed. That's dropped onto the bottom cushion because he's got the one in the pocket to get on it.
I think he'll play the one on the pocket, just drop it in, so he can play the one that's just the top one of the two together to the right centre. There we go. And now he'll be looking at that. I don't think the bottom one goes, but no, it doesn't. So be playing the top one. This one here, across to this centre. Or snookering. Depends how he feels.
Yeah, this is a test of whether you class yourself as a conservative or an aggressive player.
Yeah, because he knows that if he misses that to the middle, the white's going to be running up towards bulk and leave Ronan that black to the corner. So, yeah, he's being conservative. There we go. So, to be fair, a 3-0 down, I think that's the wise option. The referee agrees.
Again, the difficulty isn't necessarily in hitting this for Ronan McCarthy. He'd love to knock it straight in, of course.
Ooh. Oh, fine edge.
Well, actually, that's ended up about as perfect as he could have possibly played it.
It is. But I think he might have more of the same. Yeah, so he's going to have more of the same here. I think Stuart will just run the one at the top of your screen now towards the pocket, as you see, and not pot it. He has. Oh, okay, so now he's forced with the clearance. He was playing that dead weight, and if it missed, he had the snooker, but now he's got the pot to the middle.
Yeah, just taking a good look around. He'll be working himself back from the black, as all players do. Thinking how he can get himself on it. It's now in a slightly difficult position, of course.
Yes.
After that last slight hit from Ronan.
He's going for that middle. He's going to push the other one towards the corner. Now he'll snooker.
I think that's fairly safe to say.
Yeah.
And it's part of the rules of 8-ball. If you don't hit a pot, you do need to hit a cushion, which is an area of the game that's been introduced to help keep things as aggressive as possible. And
yes, takes the what they used to call the fudging element out of the game.
yes, you can't just roll up to a ball. He does have to play a shot off the cushion. It did mean that one was relatively easy, of course.
He may have left this on.
That's his fit. Double into the middle left.
Maybe
Might
a
well be on
back
here.
heel. Back heel to the middle left. Hit off the side cushion first. white into the back of the black if he can't see enough of it. Or up the rail. What's Ronan going to do here? Oh, the rail. Okay, that's a good shot. That's a good shot because he's made this very tough. He might just drop on the bottom red to snooker again.
He wasn't too far away with the pot either, as difficult as that shot was.
Yes, it was. So, the only problem with potting the one-up table is getting on the bottom one. Oh, no.
He's unlucky
Yeah,
there.
he's going to have to play the double up towards the black pocket and hope it covers it. Because anywhere else on the table, that black's potable, so... Oh. Oh. He's
Now,
left it.
I think that passes.
Yes.
It certainly does. Those are the margins. Has to get this right, Ronan. I don't think you can see the whole pocket with the black,
No,
but plays it nicely.
Very well. Played it very well. Knew the white was going to stay safe. Yeah, that's really hard for Stuart there. I think the mistake came with playing the pot on the red when he had the two reds left, and Ronan just moved the black up in the bulk. He could have run into the bottom red and left a full wall snooker. So I think he had to then, but we shall see how it pans out.
Yeah, absolutely. It does make it 4-0 to Ronan McCarthy. That's not been a true representation necessarily of how close a couple of these frames have been.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Ronan was really punishing in his first frame, broken dished, and he dished off of Stuart's dry break in the first. So 2-0 up, and all Stuart's had is a dry break. So welcome to the world of live TV. Yeah.
It's a rough introduction to Stuart Wright. But due to the nature of the game and the quick turnaround, it's never over. 4 frames can be rattled off pretty quickly.
Oh, very quickly.
Does make Ronan a heavy favourite, of course, but Stuart Wright will know it's not over. Just needs to take it 1 frame at a time. Starting with his break, needs a ball down.
He's got the red right centre. Brilliant. But from first glance, I think yellows look like the better ball to take.
Yeah, the red is over the pocket, but there's quite a few tied up.
Yeah, I think red's better. Yeah. It's just there's a couple of reds on the side, and it's a bit of a tricky one. This is a tricky one. And,
Yeah, the balls are very spread, but they seem to be blocking each other
Yes.
on quite a few occasions here.
yeah, problems for both colours, yes. By playing this red to get reds, he automatically gives Ronan 2 more yellows to that pocket. Oh, that's nice. Nicely played.
That's why he looked to develop the yellow back into the middle of the table.
Exactly. Forced to play in the red by the black now, which I don't know if it passes.
I think that's what he's just looking at. And judging by that little angle there, I'm not sure it does. It's close. I think he's going to take it on.
Ooh, into the cushion. Oh, wow. That's a great shot.
Cued that beautifully, didn't
He
he?
certainly did. Yes.
No margin for error when you cue it like that.
No, that's right.
Oh no.
That is so hard. It's these fast cloths. That's just stunned off, and it's come off at such a sharp angle.
He can't believe it.
No, that's hit hard. Giving Ronan every opportunity now.
So once again, not necessarily the 8-ball rules that you'll be used to playing down in your local. It's not 2 shots or 2 shots carry, it's a shot and a visit. So 1 shot to develop whatever you want to develop, pot whatever you like, and then you're back to the regular visit.
That's correct, yeah. And the reason why these players don't pop with their first shot is because then that is the visit. So use the first visit or the first shot just to develop a ball or to contain your opponent's ball, because once again you can play any ball on the table with that free visit, and then go ahead with the potting. So any problem balls, it's not 2 shots carry as in were balls, so you wouldn't look to make the clearance and then use your 2 shots to get your problem ball out. You do it the other way around in these rules. Develop and then pot away.
Yeah, I think the thing that maybe some casual supporters who are viewing this for the first time might struggle to deal with is players never expect to miss.
Oh, that's right. These guys
They
don't know.
they absolutely never anticipate missing when they visit the table, so they'll always back themselves to pot balls.
Oh yeah.
They'll use any
Short.
It's quite often you see players, they can pot 3 reds off a break, but if they think the yellows look a little bit better.
Oh, definitely, yeah. They will. I mean, if you pot 3 reds off the break and you think yellows look good, then you've got less traffic in the way. You've only got 4 reds left on the table to get in the way of your clearance. If you've got 7 reds, it makes it a lot more difficult. Yeah, Ronan just came up short there. He wanted the white nearer the centre mark of the baulk line to give himself an angle, so he's forced into these 2 now. So he'll play the right one and just gently come round the table. That's lovely.
And that's the angle he was looking for first time.
Definitely. Yeah, if he'd have been there, he'd have played this one now. There we go. Yes. I don't know what Ronan was drinking yesterday to celebrate his birthday, but it's worked for his right arm, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, playing very, very nicely. That's 5 frames to 0 for Ronan McCarthy. Really, really nicely done. He's looking in very ominous form.
Definitely. He's his rhythm and tempo is unshakable. That's one of his strengths.
And we'll just take a little look at the stats of this game so far. Ronan McCarthy looking very, very good indeed. He leads by 5 frames to 0. And we will see if Stuart can mount an unlikely comeback after the break. welcome back to Washington. Champions Cup of Pool here on FreeSports, and we're taking a look at Ronan McCarthy versus Stuart Wright. Sixth frame is upon us, and Ronan McCarthy, as you can see, is breaking for the match. 5 frames to the good, and it hasn't quite been the procession that that scoreline would imply, but he has been impressive nevertheless.
Oh, very much so. First couple of frames looked like it could have been a bit of a quick match, but he's got that red in the corner. But yes.
Right at the end.
Yeah.
Stuart Wright's interest would have just peaked there as that break continued to move without a ball going down. You can see there, one of the last balls on the move, the red arrowing straight into the pocket. It's his third consecutive break with the ball going down, and it just goes to show he's not really letting Stuart have much of an opportunity.
No, he's definitely getting that ball on the break, which is oh so important. So Ronan's looking to go yellows here. He'll probably try and play the one into the pocket and screw back the white to where it is now. Or he'll take extension now. Yeah, he's taking his extension. So
yeah, it's one of the elements of this Champions Cup. The shot clock is very present, very noticeable as well for the players. The last 10 seconds will tick down, as you could hear.
yes, so reds were the ball of choice then. He was looking at yellows first of all. It seemed strange.
Was there any problem areas you can spot there with the reds, James?
Well, only he'd want to be straighter on this one so he can hold the white better, but he's just dropping it in. No. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Danger was not being able to stop that white before going round the corner area, but he's left himself perfect now. Play this one. Come out from there. Excellent. He's got the long red from the blue spot in snooker straight up to the corner. And he'll try and stop the white dead.
Yeah, give him options at both ends of the table depending on how he wants to approach it. One would imagine, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, hey, because Ronan McCarthy has missed the pot there, and that is most unlike him today. So Stuart Wright will have an opportunity to keep himself in the match.
He's gone into a horrible position there as well because it doesn't pass the yellow to the corner. So, yeah, it's not good.
And that is the body language of a man unimpressed with his.
That is a sulk, I think we call that.
Well, Stuart Wright, with his back up against the wall, knows he has to clear here, really.
Yes.
Guessing his only, well, he's got a couple of problem-ish areas. The 2 yellows over the middle pocket seem to block each other a little bit. You have to play a precise positional shot. It looks like the bottom one, as we look at it there, will pass into the middle. And the one on the top cushion is also a bit of an issue for him.
Yeah, he'd be just dropping this within centre now and trying to leave himself an angle. Yeah, so he can play that one nearest the right centre now.
How does he approach his one on the top cushion, do you think, James?
Well, he'll want the white roughly where it is now, or maybe a fraction. Oh, spat out.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
But he's whilst unfortunately he got lucky that when the yellow spat out, it pushed the other yellow across to block. Yeah, it's blocked the red to the bottom corner, so the one he's nearest to is a bit tricky. Oh, that's well played.
Really nicely played, and it gives Ronan a chance here to win the frame because he's on the one on the top cushion, which is his one remaining problem ball. Stuart will be frustrated there, but on these tables, it is tough to play balls at pace into the middle pocket. There's always that risk.
Yeah, so this could be the last 2 shots of the match here, and the scoreline definitely does not reflect the standard play. Ronan's been very, very commanding, but he has made a couple of mistakes. A couple of missed pots that you wouldn't expect to see from him, but Stuart's just got unlucky there.
And that is the match. 6 frames to 0, as James alluded to. Perhaps a touch unfortunate is Stuart Wright with that scoreline in particular. Those are the match stats. You can see there Ronan McCarthy not shy of a couple of mistakes, a few missed pots along the way, but the damage was really done in the early going there. The break and dish and the reverse dish really seemed to hurt Stewart early on, set the tone.
Definitely, and for Stewart there, potting 18 balls and not getting a frame on the board is very unfortunate. It just showed that it was very tough for him to get any sort of fluidity in his game and get any consistency through. So very unlucky from Stewart, but he's done well on his first time on TV. So
yeah, he's absolutely not disgraced himself in any way, shape or form. Put it on a really good display. 6-0 is harsh, but that is the nature of top quality pool. It takes no prisoners.
it certainly doesn't, and I've been on the wrong end of a few of those, so I know how it feels. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me, James, on the commentary for our first match. We will be back with our second one. Brian Halcrow takes on Lee Ray in our second semi-final, and that's next. Cup of Pool. Delighted to be joined by the winner of our first semi-final, Ronan McCarthy. Ronan, how did that feel, first of all? Tougher game than that scoreline perhaps suggested.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have won 6-0, but I could see Stuart was maybe a wee bit nervous. You could see it, and I got off to a good start, and that put him under more pressure, and he missed a few chances. I missed a few chances there too, and just happy to get a 6-0 win. It probably, was better than my performance suggested, really. But yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of your own performance, you seem to be queuing really well right from the start there. Did you feel like you were playing well?
It felt good. The first couple of frames, didn't really do anything wrong. The table's new and the cushions are just a wee bit spongy. It's hard to get used to. It wouldn't be what we would play on every day of the week. But now that I know, hopefully I can, just sharpen up on them few mistakes and just play better as the competition goes on.
And in terms of this next semi-final, know both the players. Are you looking forward to watching it, first of all?
Yeah, because me and Brian's had a lot of battles over the years. Great player, very underrated player. Probably one of the best ever to come out of the Northeast. And Lee, great player too from up this direction. He actually beat me in one of the tours there maybe last year. So I hope to get a bit of revenge on him if he wins. But either way, it's going to be hard. Both very, very, very good players.
Well, either way, we look forward to seeing you later on. Congratulations on the win.
Cheers, Matt. Thank you.
And we'll take a look at how Ronan managed that victory right now. Here we go then. Our next game, Brian Halcrow versus Lee Ray. This should be an excellent contest. Really looking forward to this one. And the winner of this will move on to play Ronan McCarthy, who was in fine fettle in our first semi-final. Didn't take long to get up and running. A few mistakes, as he admitted to, but it does take a little bit of time to get used to this table in particular. These two players, both from around these parts. Lee Ray from down the road from the Teesside area, Brian Halcrow from the Newcastle parts of the northeast. And as Ronan mentioned, Brian been around as long as he has. Very experienced player. Lee, slightly more of an up-and-comer, but still experienced in his own right. And looking forward to seeing these two face off in our second semi-final. Just see the lag there to decide who gets the first break. And it's pretty close. I think it's just going to go to Lee. I'm delighted to say I've been joined on the commentary by the man at the top of the pile, IPA chairman Kev Barton. Kev, delighted to have you with us. We saw a great semi-final first off, Ronan McCarthy versus Stuart Wright. 6-0, really, really harsh on Stuart, as I think everyone in the arena thought. But what were your thoughts on that first semi?
Yeah, I was close up, so I was doing the timing, which made a bit of a disaster at the start. But it was a sort of funny match. Ronan started off like a train, as you would expect, and then Stuart got a few chances, and probably it just wasn't as maybe as positive as what he could have been if it had been in the club. He certainly would have been taking some of those finishes out, and he sort of played the percentages a bit. And sometimes you've just got to take the bull by the horns. So, but yeah, I mean, he didn't play disastrous, and you know, he can hold his head up high. That you know, he put in a good performance. I mean, he was always going to be up against it. He's playing one of the legends of the game, and you know, there's a lot of pressure on him. You know, he could see the nerves, but you know, he did a good account of himself. And like you say, 6-0 wasn't really a fair reflection.
Well, speaking of legends of the game, Brian Harcrow probably also in that bracket as well. 3 balls down from the first break, and remarkable actually that he's still not got the best spread in the world. He's going to be looking at reds, I'd imagine, here, with the one near the top and the 3 yellows on the cushion. But Brian, a hugely experienced player and always great to watch as well.
Yeah, a very dogged performer, and he's sort of made a comeback to the game in the past 12 months. A bit of time out, away from the game, and he's completely re-energised, and you know, particularly a lot of the things that the IPA is doing, and with FreeSports in particular, the Champions Cup. He's got his juices going again, and you know, he's loving the black ball rules and loving the competition again.
He's got a good opportunity here to make a pretty good start in this match. Just 4 left, and you can see there the light. I think that top red of the 2 just passes the other one into the bottom corner, but maybe not the easiest he could have had.
No, that looks quite tight, so he's going to put this one into this bottom left-hand corner. Not quite sure what he's looking at here. I'm just wondering if that top red of those 2 goes in that left-hand pocket.
I think that's what he's just having a look at now. He might also be taking a look as if it'll pot into the right centre as well, if you can move that other red.
It looks like he's playing to put this one into the middle and then kiss the white into the cluster, and he'd love to kiss that yellow full in the face that's near the 2 reds, just to leave the white there for that nice easy red into the left corner.
This shot is laced with difficulty and he misses the cannon. Now, as I mentioned, does that ball nip into the top, into the middle right pocket? If it does, he's okay. If it doesn't, it might well be the end of the break. Close one.
Yeah,
I think it may just.
Yeah, it's just skidded off the cushion a little bit there, and he's just missed that yellow by a fraction. But I think he's had a result.
Yeah, he can just poke it in. There you go.
And the first frame's so important. You know, live television is completely new animal to these guys, and you know, Stewart in the last match didn't quite get that frame on the board, which, you know, could have changed things for him in the match. And you know, it's so important to win that first frame and get settled in.
I don't think there's any dispute that Brian is looking pretty settled right now. Not the easiest black ball ever, but here's the black ball, and he's left himself to win the frame. Cued that beautifully. That's a break and dish to kick things off for Brian Harcrow, and he's into the groove already.
Yeah, and he's brought a big following with him from his area up in the northeast. So there was a bit of a minibus arriving when he was, so he's got lots of support in the crowd.
Lots of people in here tonight. It's a really good atmosphere. We take a look here at Brian's recent tournament history. Unlucky to lose to Clint Ianson in the European Professional last year. Did get a win in the British Open though against Simon Ward. He's an experienced campaigner, but he's there or thereabouts in pretty much every competition.
Yeah, and to say it was his first year back last year, the players on the right-hand side is almost a who's who of black ball pool at the moment. So you know, it shows the calibre.
He was never away.
Yeah. It shows the calibre of player that it's taking to beat him. You know, he lost 8-7 there to Clint Ianson, who is one of the top professionals in the world. So yeah, Brian is up there.
Anyway, gets a couple of balls down, a couple of reds, and it's not the easiest lie for him, this one. Didn't get the best spread ever. A lot of balls down the bottom of the table, and I think the amount of yellows left will be a problem if he does choose reds.
Yeah, a bit of a nervy break, almost screwed straight off into the corner bag, but he's had a reprieve. So it looks like he's taking this difficult yellow into the bottom right corner.
He'll be really pleased with how well he's cued that for his first real shot in anger after the break. It's not turned out the nicest for him in terms of position. That yellow did not want to sit in between the other 2.
Yeah, he was always going to be hoping to a little bit of luck for his next positional shot, but he can clip this in, he can keep the break going. He's played a containing shot there, but not the best, I don't think. I think there's a gap there that Brian can put the red into the left centre. And we can see this red at the bottom near these 3 yellows does go past the yellow into the right corner, which could open the bag up then for that other red that the white's next to there. So I'm pretty certain Brian's going to be taking the aggressive options. He certainly put that on his social media post earlier.
He did seem to be very excited, Brian Halcrow, to be here and away in this competition. I spoke to him earlier on. He was buzzing to have a tournament on his own doorstep, essentially. Yes. Then he could get quite a few of his friends and family down to support him.
His nickname is the Buzzer. I know his army of fans have got a few songs that I'm sure if he does well in this tournament, they might be giving us a rendition of.
Yeah, they only just beat the buzzer there on the shot clock and took it right down to the wire. But interesting actually how well he dealt with that, because in terms of the shot clock, it's a relatively new experience for a lot of these players, especially in the way that it does make the noise. They will have to adapt to that. You can hear that in the backgrounds. And containing safety.
Quite sure about that shot from Brian there. It was a bit of a nothing shot. I think he was probably looking to get the white somewhere over this side of the table, but he's left Lee a chance here. This yellow does go into that bag.
His issue is at the bottom of the table, a lot of congestion. That's what he's just tried to develop there.
Well, it's not bad, but as we know, with the attacking nature of black ball rules, the first thing that's going to be going through Brian's mind is how he can play some sort of skill shot. So he could be potentially, looking to pot this one into the centre bag, sending the white up and down, and trying to. That's exactly what he's looking at now. So that's the nature of black ball rules. They're always looking, these players, for the aggressive potting option.
Well, that hasn't gone as planned. He tried it with another angle, a different shot, but it was still the same idea. But he's actually knocked his red safe, and he hasn't knocked the yellow in.
It was a great pot. It was a great pot there from Brian. But just didn't quite judge the cannon as good as he would have hoped. Again, he has got a plan B. And you could see what he was thinking. He's going to try and leave this white as behind. I think he was trying to leave the white behind that red at the top and maybe play the plant. But he's missed the pot.
Containing shot from Lee, and that's actually a clever shot that maybe at first appeared going for the snooker, and Lee got some thinking to do here.
Yeah, what Lee won't want to do is to leave a total snooker, because if he leaves a total snooker, he would have given Brian the opportunity just to maybe snooker him back. But now the fact that he's left an edge of the red, it means that for Brian to return any sort of really good safety, it's going to be really difficult.
Yeah, the 8-ball rules do really make these safety battles in particular so intriguing. Every single one different. Referee just taking a look at this here just to determine if it is a total snooker or not. Decision, I think there is not. And Brian with a tough shot.
Didn't quite hear what the referee called then. Well, he's got away with that one. He just glanced the edge of that red, and the white hit the cushion afterwards, so it was legal in the end. Did his best to miss that ball.
Yeah, of course it's so thin it returned to where it was in the first place. The yellow goes in, and Lee was just trying to disturb the yellow on the bottom cushion there. Didn't quite get a glance on it he was after. And he's running out of opportunity to develop those 4 balls.
Yeah, well, he's got the perfect opportunity to develop them now. Put the one over the right corner, crash into that red and yellow, and hopefully leave them nice and open. He won't be short of pace on this one.
See there, he's cueing with real purpose. Didn't really get into it in the end.
No, it hit the yellow far too full. He needed to hit it thinner and stun the white into them. He's tried to run it through. He's just not really cued that very well. Put himself under pressure now.
What's he potentially looking at here, Kevin?
Well, I think this is his only shot. It's difficult to tell. He's played the safety.
I think he's just about okay with that safety. He was looking to stop the reds from going straight into that pocket. I think he stopped one of them, which is the top one as we look at it. Don't think that will now pass the yellow.
I think Brattle, well, it's difficult to... I thought he may have just tried to develop this one just under his arm.
And he's just played the shot there just to make sure he's red as possible again. Interesting tactical battle this so early on in this match. At this point in our last semi-final, it was about 4-0. Ronan McCarthy did not hang about. This second frame has taken some real figuring out for these two players. That's an opportunity that Lee has not wasted in getting one of his yellows into the open.
It's a nice shot from Lee, but I suspect Brian is probably just going to knock this red into this area, just try and take control of this pocket.
Not the easiest queuing over that yellow, but he's played that pretty nicely.
Well, I think there is an aggressive option here for Lee if he wants to go for it. He's got the back double, back treble.
Looks like that's what he's playing. Oh, doesn't quite get it.
See, in that situation, I think I would have taken on the treble, because he did have a big bag. It's a more difficult shot, but where those two reds were, could have made it what we call a bigger bag. So I think he's maybe missed a trick there. Brian's just going to dab this red out. I'd like to have just nudged that another inch or so. But,
it does make it not the easiest shot here for Lee, because he doesn't really want to move the yellow that's just to the right of the cue ball as we look at it, because then Brian can see the red from anywhere on the table. And when he's so close to that yellow, it does make it difficult. Shot clock ticks.
yeah, I'm not sure that these guys are really using their extensions as as good as they could do. There was a few instances in the first match where time was running out. They still had extensions in the bank, and didn't use them. So again, it's just getting used to the unfamiliar conditions, even for some of these experienced players.
Yeah, Brian just surveying the table here. Aggressive option is on. He takes it.
Don't think he's going to be too pleased with that one. That looks like the wrong angle, but maybe you can see an edge from up there. He can.
This requires cueing immense precision, and he does it.
Great
Terrific
shot.
shot that. You hear there a little bit of reaction from the crowd as well. Really, really good shot that from Brian Halker. That had to be millimetre perfect.
Yeah, and the shot before was the great shot to set that shot up. So whilst at first sight it looked like he'd not got himself a great positional shot, it was absolutely perfect.
That one there for his routine, and this should be a pretty easy black ball to make it 2-zip to Brian Halker. Really had to grind that frame out. And this now should be relatively straightforward for a 2-0 lead.
Goes. Great crowd in tonight here at the Sky Lounge.
Yeah, they're all absolutely engrossed as well. You can hear a pin drop silence when the players are at the table. And a little bit of light relief as soon as the frame ends, and they can all almost breathe again. They feel normal. And that's nicely done from Brian Halker there.
Yes.
Taking a 2-0 lead. Here's Lee Ray's recent tournament history.
Yeah, it's not been Lee's best year. He's had a few injuries and a few other things going on, and probably not focused as much on the pool. The year before, he had a couple of great runs. So he'll be looking to rectify that this year in this tournament and on the tour. So yeah, some results he probably would like, some matches he'd like to have another go at. But, yeah, he's missed a couple as well. So.
And in terms of this competition, Kev, you know, we look at the week 2 lineup here, and realistically, you know, Ronan McCarthy played very well, but Stuart Wright gave himself a good account of himself as a qualifier. In this match, it's really difficult to call the winner. It's, you know, we've got quick format, and only one can advance out of these 4 into the next round. And in theory, this is the last 64 of the competition as we look at it in a table format. So it really does say a lot about the standard of where we're at the minute. There's no easy results here. We're going to lose a lot of good players in round 1.
Absolutely, yeah, and we've already lost some very good players just after 1 week. So it's going to be the same every week. These races to 6, I mean, you know, it is a sprint for these guys. You know, they've just come back from the Worlds where they've been playing best of 5 sets, each set best of 7, you know, potentially best of 35, and now they're coming to a best of 11. So it's a big culture shock on the back of the Worlds. So yeah, it's going to take them a little bit of getting used to, but you know, these guys are they've been around a bit. They're very experienced. It's just the unfamiliarity of, you know, playing on TV, and this rapid shot clock for 45 seconds soon goes.
Yeah, it absolutely does, and you really notice it in the tactical frames. You know, once players are settled into a routine clearance, they barely need 4.5 seconds, never mind 45. But in the tactical frames like the one we just saw, you know, players will try and take as much time as possible to think about it. You see here Brian Halker just using quite a bit of his shot clock just to figure out where his chances lie in this frame. He's elected to just play a little bit safe there. It was a very, very tough cut to take on. He's elected not to.
Yeah, there would have been some players who would have potted that and you know, kept going. But you know, Brian, he is very experienced. He's, you know, one of the sort of old school type players, and you know, he's using that experience and applying it to black ball. So yeah, he's a tough match player. He's Brian, very tough match player.
Yeah, and Lee just using his extension here. You often see the extension used towards the start of a frame because that's what players tend to like to do. They like to survey the scene right at the start and then not take too much time afterwards. That is Eye of the Needle stuff from Lee Ray, nicely played. And the arrows actually look pretty well set, apart from the one that's obviously blocked by the two reds in the bottom corner.
Yeah, he'll just be, again, we talk about it all the time, the aggressive nature of the rules. He'll be looking at what ball he can get onto pot, where he can try and disturb that cluster. I think he's just playing a safety, running this up the rail, just to try and cover that bag. He looks to play that pretty well.
Yeah, nicely played. He wasn't looking to pot that, as Kev rightly said. And again, we could be into another fairly tactical frame here. Just all stemmed from the break, didn't it? Not the cleanest and most open. And let's take a look here at what Brian's looking at. Just another containing safety shot. Pretty much leaves that red exactly where it was, but just rotates the white around the table.
Yeah, the good thing about the previous safety shot that Lee played was that he didn't leave Brian an easy shot to get that red out that's near the black, because both these guys, what they're doing is to develop their bad ball, as it were. So it's whoever can move their ball first is potentially going to have the first opportunity to take the finish out.
What do you make of that shot?
It's probably not gone as well as he would have hoped, because I think Brian can get to this red at the top. He's going to be looking to get this out, and then he's going to be disappointed with that one. That was a bit of an edgy one.
Yeah, it hasn't really helped him a huge amount, that shot, and it's actually, it may have even helped Lee out a touch here.
Yeah, so Lee's got to be careful, because if he develops this yellow, then he leaves Brian a free go to try and develop his bad red. So this one here, but this red, it does go into here. So you know, Brian will be having that thought at the back of his mind. I think we're going to see Brian go for these. He's not going to get a better chance, I don't think.
I think Lee knows that.
No, he's proving me wrong.
Well, that was definitely the conservative option, because the pot there was open for Brian, but had he potted it, it did open the pocket up for Lee. So it was definitely the conservative option to keep this safety battle going a touch longer. And we're not one to question Brian Halcrow's methods, of course. Mentioned his ability as a match player. He's thinking about the long game.
Absolutely, he knows he's got this match under control. He's 2-0 up. It's pretty even, this frame. I don't think either colour has got a significant advantage. Marginally yellows, but it is only a wafer thin margin.
Yeah, these two never played each other before, which for two players from the same area is perhaps a little rare, but new experience for the pair of them. Now,
He doesn't want that to go in.
Looks a bit strong, it's going to drop. Calls a shot from around the crowd, but I don't think Brian Halcrow wanted to pop that.
Well, I think...
Might just force his hand.
Yeah, I think his hand is definitely forced now. And I think, well, again, it's difficult to call some of these shots because there's different ways to play. You know, he could come off 2 cushions and knock this red out, which is what he's looking at, because he still has these 2 balls over this hole where one of Lee's yellows is. So he doesn't want to pop that yellow though.
Well, that's a foul and a visit for, or shot and a visit, I should say, for Lee Ray, and that's a good opening.
And
Because of course, the free visit means he can clear his problem area straight off the bat.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think some of the more aggressive players would have certainly gone for some sort of finish in that situation. So yeah, I think Brian was just playing a little bit too cautious there.
He wants to catch this thin to clear both of them out. He's done that. How's it ended up for him? I think he's going to be pretty happy with the outcome. It's certainly better than what it was.
Yeah, he's certainly going for the finish now. Just which order he wants to take them out in. He could play the long plan, or he could take the one into the middle first.
And that's a clever shot. Because in putting that yellow up towards the top of the table, it actually made it a little bit difficult, but he's managed to develop it straight away.
He could, if he's feeling adventurous, pot that and maybe try to stun the white down here, something like that, and pot that red. Doesn't need to, but it's just how he sees it.
It has struck me in the really going here. He's a pretty aggressive player, Lee Ray. Just feathers that one in. I'm not sure that's where he wanted to leave the white ball though.
That's why this game is so fascinating, because there's so many different ways to go for a finish. Everyone sees it differently, and you know, I would never have really thought about that shot. It was the right shot for Lee. So he's going to have to try and kiss onto something here to keep the white that end of the table. Is he doubling it? That's just slid off the cushion.
A lot of the chat has been from these players about how quick the cushions are playing, with it being a brand new table, not as sticky as perhaps they're used to on a day-to-day basis. This is pretty much brand new.
It's only had 1 week of Champions Cup on it. I think Brian will come down to take this one at the bottom first. And that's where the slide really worked for him there. You could see on that second cushion that white almost came off at right angles. You can watch it here now, it's coming along and then it'll just slide there and creates a wider angle. Judged it well.
Yeah, Ronan McCarthy after the first game did mention how the table was playing and how it was just takes some little bit of getting used to. Feels like he's got the run of the table now, but does take some time. Brian should be heading into a 3-0 lead here. And Lee Ray will be ruining those missed opportunities, because he has had opportunities.
Yeah, and we're seeing almost a similar pattern to the first match, where Stuart Wright, he had a few chances, just couldn't quite get that frame on the board, and so far Lee Ray is suffering the same result. So he needs to book that trend and do something quickly.
And the opportunity for Lee there really came when Brian had the foul. Shot and a visit from that scenario should have really been end of frame. That's what Lee Ray would have been expecting when he came to the table. Not quite gone his way, and this will be a real test of his mental mettle to see if he can come back from this. He'll want to start things off with a good break first and foremost.
Yes, we know in black ball 3-0 is not really much of a lead. It can soon turn round. dry break here and a nice breaking dish there. It can soon evaporate.
Cue ball spinning like a top there. A couple of balls down for Lee.
I think he's going to like this. I think he's going to be looking at some reds here. No, he can put the yellow.
It's what you were saying about everyone sees the game differently, eh?
Yeah, that's not good. He's developed it into a more potable position, but it stopped him seeing the one. I'm not sure he might send the white to the left cushion and try and put this one over the right middle.
There's quite a bit of margin for error for there, yeah.
He's playing it.
That's the shot. It's not the shot he wanted to play, but
Looks good.
He's been forced to, and that's why, because really any contact there was sending that in. And slightly less risk-free, or slightly safer shot than that perhaps looked.
Just made it. He with a fraction, and that wouldn't have gone in.
And that one wiped its feet as well. I think you can see this yellow on the top cushion, yeah. There you go. Just about see the potting angle. He's playing the game in millimetres here. Here's Lee Ray. And that one, well, speaking of wiping its feet, that one knocked on the door.
He's using all of the bags for this finish. This is a thin little clip on the black.
Yeah, this is missable. Gets it.
And it goes.
And the white's safe, and he's pretty pleased with that frame on the board. And a break and dish is just what Lee Ray needed there. A little bit of a smile to himself. There'll be an element there of him just being pleased to get one on the board, won't there?
Yeah, he's going to feel a million times better for getting that frame. You know, he'll feel like he's in the match now, and it's only 3-1, and you know, a dry break from Brian, and you know, we could be at 3-all in the next 5-6 minutes. That's how quickly it can turn around. That's what Lee's got to be telling himself.
And we see the racker in use to make sure those balls are primed and ready. 3 frames to 1 then in this race to 6 to decide who will play Ronan McCarthy in tonight's final here in Washington. One down, and this is going to be an interesting lie. This is pretty congested.
I'm sure before this match started, these guys were thinking of just breaking and all the balls opening nicely each frame, and they can just roll in a finish. But
It's chance to be a fine thing. Hey,
it's you know, it's hard work out there. Nothing's easy. He's got no easy shot here. I'm not sure if he's got a pot on, to be honest. I can't see.
Just wonder if the yellow nearest the black spot cuts into the middle pocket to the left-hand side. Once he uses extension here, one would imagine. Yep, extension used, so he gets an extra 30 seconds to survey the tail. But you might even be looking at the plant here as well, Kev.
I think that's all he's got. He's got a really tricky plant. This is very, very missable. Red onto yellow. I think he's using the spider. He's called for a spider, I think, or even the swan neck. He's not going to get there with that. He needs something a bit taller than that. I think he's given up on that shot. He's got 20 seconds to...
The referee just called a timeout there. I think that's to allow Brian not to be disadvantaged by the getting of the equipment.
Oh, they're calling for... yeah, they're calling for the swan neck, I think. Or, oh, he just got the ordinary spider.
it goes without saying, this is a tough shot. Shot clock ticking. Plant's missed. It was very difficult. The further apart the balls are, the more missable the plant becomes. When you add in a spider into the equation as well, it's about as hard a shot as you could possibly wish to play.
He did well to get the spider out of the way there without knocking the balls everywhere. It was all fingers and thumbs on that one.
Well, there's an option then for Lee. He has the pot on to the right middle. Use it nicely. Looked to develop the yellow at the bottom. Didn't quite get enough in it to move it as much as he would have liked, and he's not left himself anything easy here either.
No, nothing easy at all. I mean, it was not a great shot that. He had a lot of margin for error to develop that yellow, so he'll be a bit disappointed with that. I think the only shot I can see is this red up the rail. But he's still got this red here, this yellow here to develop. So plenty of work to do on this finish.
That looks pretty good.
Cracking shot there from Lee.
Yeah, just rolled it in dead weight, made it far more likely to take the dip into that corner pocket.
I'm not sure if he's got the angle here. But he could clip the one into the left middle and take the white off the top rail and aim for these two balls in the bottom right hand side and possibly develop them. It's a thin clip. No, he's playing it into the top corner.
He does get it, and I think he's got the angle here. If he plays the yellow nearest the black spot, just a cannon into those two yellows, which I think are causing me a bit of a problem because I don't think the bottom one goes. Or he's going to play a top yellow here.
And screw back onto this red. So that's well thought out. So now he's going to play the pot into the right centre and try and develop this yellow in the bottom right hand corner pocket.
Yeah, played that really nicely. Good thinking from Lee Ray. He wants this to come off though. Key shot to the frame. Plays it really well. That's just about a perfect outcome from that shot.
He's going to be absolutely over the moon at that. And we can see now how this match is possibly turning around.
Just wanted that to hold up, and it has. Does have the yellow into the left centre. Should automatically be on the black. Just needs to concentrate on the pot. And gets it. So we mentioned how quickly a game can turn. This one has turned almost right around. Lee Ray with the black for 3-2. Beautifully played. Really nicely done to nearly tie things up heading into the break. It's been a really close game here. Lee Ray has had to work his way into it, and it's not been the easiest for him. Brian Halcrow raced into a 3-frame advantage. Lee Ray has fought back. There's the stats, pretty close as you can see. And when we return, it is anybody's game. Let's see where this match is going. Who will play Ronan McCarthy in tonight's final? We'll find out after the break. welcome back to Washington and the IPA Pool Champions Cup here on FreeSports. Lee Ray taking on Brian Halcrow in a really close match. It's 3-2 as we move ourselves into this 6th frame. And it's just about as close as you could possibly have it. Brian Halcrow flew out the blocks, taking the first 3, then Lee Ray has fought back really valiantly. Could have gone one of 2 ways, you felt. Stephen Jameson with you on the commentary here, and Kev, it's been a wonderful game of pool so far.
It is, yeah. Brian was fast out the blocks, and Lee was a bit all at sea, and he's found a way to get some frames on the board as Lee, and it's going to be interesting to see if the break, is going to stop his momentum, or whether he can keep it going. Lucky again with the break there. He's not quite timing the break at the moment, but he's managed to avoid the off-potted the ball, so he's still at the table. And he could be looking at this yellow here, playing it off that red and into there. I think he's going to play that now. That yellow's got no other pocket to go into, and he's absolutely perfect to play that shot.
Yeah, this would solve his big problem ball, really. And he tried to play it straight in, and it bounces out. Opportunity knocks for Brian Halcrow.
Yeah, playing those shots at that pace are very, very difficult. You've got to be absolutely millimetre perfect. I can't understand why he didn't play off the red. It was a complicated shot, but one that these guys would expect to play and get. So a little bit surprised at the shot selection. And if this red goes in the bottom left, then he's just opened up the table for Brian, which he does.
Not distracted by the presence of the 10-second beeps, and you'd really back him from here. Brian Halcrow. The red, as we look at it now, to the top right of the table, does pass the yellow into that top corner pocket.
Yeah, I think he'll be taking this one into here. He's trying to screw the white somewhere near that black. Gives himself a choice of balls here. He's got one into the top right, one into the bottom left, one into the right centre. He can go for anything.
Yeah, and that's a decision to make. As you mentioned, his one real problem ball is the one at the top left. That's the most difficult, and we often see players will try and get their most difficult ball out the way first. But just looking at the angle here, if he plays the one into the top right, he should be on the one to the top left. I think is what he's looking at. Yeah, that's what he's played it nicely.
He played that well. Straight, attacking the difficult ball as soon as he can. But he needs to put this one clean. He needs to bounce the white out or screw the white back. Try and just sort of punch this in. Yeah, you try to. Yeah, you just give that a little bit too much.
Have to cue those perfectly. As soon as you're playing along the rail with any sort of pace, they've got to be spot on. The jaws of the pocket so unforgiving as soon as they're presented with any sort of pace. And Lee Ray, as you can see, jumped up out of his seat. He couldn't wait to get back to the table.
Yeah, this is a golden opportunity now to get back to 3-all.
Just taking that extra bit of time just to double check everything and almost dot the I's and cross the T's here, because this should be relatively straightforward.
Well, if he's down at the club practicing against one of his colleagues, these would have all been safely in the pocket, and they'd be racking the next frame up. But the situation, the pressure. completely different kettle of fish. And you'll be disappointed not to get these. That's what these guys do.
Yeah, leaves himself pretty perfect here. You'd have to back the Nottingham Tee side from this position here. Great opportunity. So as Kev mentioned, tie things up at 3 apiece, and we actually said at 3-0 just how quickly a game can turn. I think this has been the perfect example, really. And to all the players who are watching at home, who are about to play in the next few weeks in this Champions Cup, a real example. And a game is far from dead even at 3-0, and Lee Ray ties things up. May well be going the distance here. It's 3 apiece.
Well, they've been spoilt recently after the World Championships, where virtually every match went to the deciding frame.
It certainly did.
And a bit of a shock to have a 6-0 in the first match. But yeah, this one has got 5-all written all over it. But I think you know, Lee's going to be feeling more confident of the two at the moment. Brian's just you know, missed a couple. He was 3-0 up 10-15 minutes ago, and he's seen that lead disappear. So
momentum's certainly with Lee at this stage. That's pretty certain. But Brian with a chance to break, and this is his chance to get his footing back in this game. And he gets the last ball on the move into the pocket. Just see there, bottom right as we look at it, just creeping in to keep himself at the table.
but again, nothing easy. No nice, easy finish to go at. Work to do. Possibly play the plant, the red nearest the black spot onto the yellow over the pocket, but not great options.
Yeah, he's going to use his extension there. This isn't an easy table at all. We did have a lengthy tactical battle in our second frame. Wouldn't surprise me if we had another one here. We just tried to kiss that red in off the yellow, as you mentioned. Didn't quite work out, and Lee has a little bit of an opening here. It's a better table for him to look at than it was for Brian.
Yeah, that was a tough shot that Brian was taking on there. Very tough, particularly when he was under time pressure. So he's going to put this red into the right corner and then try and disturb this red and yellow on the left-hand side. Yeah, it's okay. I think that red still goes. He won't take it this shot, I don't think. It's a little bit close. White a little bit close to the red.
Yeah, but as you can see, he's got this one into the bottom right as a safety net. It's a very jabby shot into the bottom left. You won't really want to play that. It's awkward queuing this one though. Played it pretty much straight away, dead weight, drops it in. Really nicely played.
Yeah, that was a good shot.
Might just take this on as a double, actually, looking at this.
Well, I think he's going to be looking to play this one. I think that is his only shot. I think he may be able to play that one into there, but I think this is a slightly easy shot, even though it's a really difficult pot.
Did just have to be careful with that white. He's actually, I think, deliberately used the jaw there.
He cued that well. Cued that really well. Now he's going to have to cue this one just as well, if not better.
Yeah, we mentioned when Lee came to the table, he saw a better table than Brian at his last visit, but there really isn't any gimmies. This is a difficult setup. It's better, but it's still difficult.
Well, he can get his cueing, so he's going to screw this right back. Oh, what's he caught?
Just wonder if his cue caught the yellow there on his way through. Might need to have another look at that, but foul has been called. Brian has a shot and a visit.
Yeah, you see his cue there, move the yellow. Our eagle-eyed referee there spotted that.
Yeah, good spot from the referee, and absolutely spot on as well. And now a good opportunity for Brian here. As we mentioned a little bit earlier on, to maybe the fan who's not watched as much 8-ball as we have over the last last couple of weeks ago, that might seem a strange shot, but actually that has made Lee's life very, very difficult.
Yeah, Brian, he just wasn't 100% confident of going for the finish on that visit, and you know, he's just used his advantage and just developed one of his yellows that was a little bit close to the cushion. And you know, next time up, he's hoping to draw a foul from Lee, and then he'll take the yellow down the rail and proceed to go for the finish. So this is he was in a whole world of difficulty there.
Yeah, that was a really, really horrible shot to try and get out of.
So he's going to take the white, and I suspect he'll just nudge this yellow on the... No, he's taking the red. I think sometimes, you know, players can overcomplicate things.
Well, he moves Lee's red out the way for himself. Hasn't left himself anything particularly easy, but he's still in a good position here, Brian.
I mean, he can put this one in here. I think in an ideal world he would have left himself an angle to disturb this one on here, on the top cushion as we look. Yeah, I mean, he moved the red to give those yellows a bit more freedom, I guess. But you know, those balls went into pockets. You know, I think the very, very elite players would have probably developed the one down the rail and gone for the finish. And you can see he's missed the pot there.
His left arm came up as soon as he played that shot.
I think he got a heavy contact.
Didn't like it either way. Not a happy man, Brian Halcrow. And this pot's for Lee Ray. It's a difficult shot though, it doesn't get it. A couple of missed pots.
Yeah, Lee just
in a row.
Just came off the shot there. I think he had in the back of his mind the shot he played before when he fouled. So I think he was just conscious of getting his cue and hands out of the way. Maybe just put him off the shot a little bit. His 7th frame, it could be a pivotal frame in this match.
This is a fairly easy one to hit, but the cueing is difficult. Turtle snooker called by the referee. I think he'll be wanting to play this slowly.
Yeah, if he can just squeeze past those, he may be able to hit it direct. What Brian's done, he's left awkward cueing, so what Lee can't do is putting his side on the white, so that's why he's having to go this way, because that shot I just drew wasn't on. This looks close. Yeah, that's a good shot. Very good shot.
He played that really nicely. He's only insured a couple of options for Brian himself. He lost the reverse safety as it's turned out in the end.
Little top of the table there from Brian, appreciating a good shot there. So I think Brian's just going to hit the yellow that's nearest the centre bag on the left hand side, just half ball, send the white up to the top end of the table. he's had a little bit of luck there that the yellow's come in front of the white ball, because he would have left Lee a potential pot, but as it is.
Yeah, you can see there that the angle that Lee has to work with. I think he's just considered, so you can see where his cue's pointing there. He might still be considering playing off the top cushion, off the side cushion for the pot. I think that's what he's looking at.
Yeah, there is a shot, but it's very difficult. He needs to hit the white just below the centre bag.
This would be...
I think he's hit the knuckle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would have been a really, really fantastic shot. That was not easy. And I think he just got his angles wrong. See that? Wasn't
far
really
off. He just needed to hit about another 4 inches just below that middle bag, and then it would have been okay. Where's that white going?
Lovely shot from Bryant. Played that with the safety of knowing that it wasn't the end of the world if he didn't pot it. Bit of a shot to nothing. And he ends up being able to play a pretty simple snooker. Again there you see Brian's rather conservative tendencies. Could have taken the yellow along the cushion, but he's very cautious, knows that Lee's capable of punishing any misses, just makes it more difficult for Lee here. It's very nearly a good shot, but just skims by and pots the white.
So Brian's got a decision to make here. Does he want to move Lee's red and open that bag, or does he want to develop the black? So he needs to... can he do both with this visit? It's just...
That's what he's played. Red's out the way. Yellow's now dominate that pocket. And Brian Halcrow is, without question now, the bona fide favourite for this frame. But the black does remain the issue ball. It's not easy. Rest of the table should be relatively straightforward.
if he gets, you know, anywhere near behind the black, he can just roll it up, knowing that wherever he leaves the white, he's going to leave Lee something very, very difficult. So he has got some insurance there. But, I thought he may have developed the black and maybe laid another snooker the way he's sort of played in the match. But, he's got to go for it now. I'm not sure about that one. I think he's only left himself a blank.
I think that's what he's playing. Yeah, that's nicely played.
Could have gone wrong that, but played it well.
Yeah, nice simple screw. And he'll want to, as you mentioned, Kev, leave this white as close to the black ball as he can. He's got the angle to do so.
Yes, he's going to put that in there. Now the white is going to go sort of somewhere here. So he's not going to have perfect position on this black. I mean, he almost got to where my line was, but by going up and down the table.
You're sort of right, Kev. Sort of right. This isn't easy, but if he gets it, he's 4-3 in the lead. Just rolls it
He's
in.
missed it. Oh, it's gone in.
Just drops. And that just goes to show sometimes the pace of the ball is all important. That was a crucial part for Brian Halcrow. Just dropped after hitting both knuckles. He's 4-3 to the good.
Yeah, I'm surprised that black went in, to be honest. It was certainly just the speed that allowed it to drop. A little bit of gravity. I'm not sure if somebody opened the door and a little gust of wind blew it in, but in it is. So Brian's going to feel a bit better now after stopping the rot of 3 frames. But it is only on serve, as it were. It is lead to break.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say it's only a hold of break, really, and he could be taking a glass half empty view of being annoyed at how hard he had to work to hold his break. Lee can reel off another break and dish it. Could look at the momentum still being with him. But I think for the first time this match we're going to have a dry break, and it's not the right time to do it if you lead rate. Not that there's ever a right time to do it, but especially not now.
I'm not sure about the way Lee's breaking. He's not giving it 100%. He's been a little bit conservative, I think, on the break. I've certainly seen him hit them a lot harder than that. Whether that's the situation and how he feels most comfortable. So the obvious shot now is this plant.
It doesn't go. He won't be really upset about that, but it does go down as a miss. It's definitely allowed him a huge degree of control over the bottom of the table.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if he played to cover the bag there. Because the reds are not, they're not perfect. The black doesn't go. The black's tied up, so I think he's played. He's played to take control again. He knows he's got the more experience than Lee, and I think that's the sort of attitude he's come into the match with. He's going to use his experience to win this match. He won't be able, if he wins this match, he won't be able to play like that against Ronan. I think we probably will see a different Brian if he does come through.
Those two have played each other many a time over the years. Very familiar foes in that sense. He's just taking his time here. We'll need to settle and play the shot eventually. Let's see there, almost a bit of a nothing shot really from Lee, just knocks the yellow into the middle of the table.
Yeah, Brian's just going to take control of this bag now.
Yeah, that he definitely didn't want to pot.
Again, some of the the more aggressive players would have potentially potted that, screwed into the yellow and black, developed it and looked for the finish. It's that red that's next to the yellow, it goes into the top middle as we're looking. So yeah, I think Brian's definitely come in with a game plan for this match. And Lee's almost just saying, well, have a go.
He's almost trying to bait him out, isn't he?
Yeah, he's teasing Brian, he's cleverly not let him see the one over the top right as we're looking now.
Which almost would have been a shot to nothing.
Absolutely.
He's refusing to be drawn. Here's Halcrow.
He's not taking the bait just yet. He's playing to his strengths. He knows he's in control of the frame. He's going to go when he's ready to go.
You can see there how close those balls are to each other. Makes for slightly awkward queuing for Lee.
I think he's just going to play. Well, I thought he was going to try and knock a red onto the side rail, but I think Brian has to go for the finish now. He really has to do, I think. I know the black's tied up, but he's got options of how he can develop that and still leave himself a pot on.
Judging by the way Lee's standing at the table, he doesn't expect him to. I think Brian might take him by surprise here. No.
Wow.
Now, one thing it isn't, it's an easy lie for Lee Ray. You do get the sense that Brian could take out all of his reds pretty easily, but the black remains a huge issue for him. For Lee, there's a lot of problem areas.
He can only play some sort of defensive safety, so he's going to just plant these 2 yellows down. Maybe he's tried to come off the side rail and snooker behind the 2 yellows. But again, I think he'd probably like to have that one again. So Brian's going to go for this as a shot to nothing. And he's not going to be happy with that one.
No, that's probably the worst possible outcome actually for Brian. He's pretty much knocked that red safe.
He's knocked it from one cushion to the other.
And a far less potable cushion as well, because at least when it was on the side it was potable from the bottom of the table. Now he's got to get right up there where the ball hasn't really spent a lot of time in this frame. Lee being forced to think, and think quickly as well. That shot clock keeps ticking.
He needs to get this one right if he's trying to knock this black onto the side rail.
Played that nicely.
We saw this probably 3 frames ago where Brian was probably overcautious and he ended up playing a foul as he tried to develop a ball, and that helped Lee on his comeback into the match. And, this frame's taking a similar vein. It's Brian's to lose. All Lee can do is just try and make it as awkward as possible for him at the moment.
You have to sympathise a little bit with Lee Ray's plight here. It really is difficult for him, but he's trying to do his best to make it difficult for Brian. That's a good shot.
He's going to be pleased with that one. But again, you know, the ultra-attacking players, you know, they'll be putting this one into this, or they'd work the route out so they could put this one into the bottom right, smash into those 3 balls down there and try and develop them.
Brian's made that red far more inviting.
So I think now that he's got that over that bag, I think Brian does have to go for the finish on his next visit. He's got 3 of the 6 bags covered. So I think the time is coming for him to strike in this frame. There's not a lot Lee can do to prevent that.
A little anxious look at the shot clock as well.
Can try and just put this down here and make it a little bit more clustered. So, at some point in this frame, Brian's going to have to put this one and cannon into this yellow, try and move it.
Well, he's cannoned the yellow and moved the red. I'm not sure if he wanted to pot the red over that top pocket, but he's back at the table again. Let's have a look at this. Developed it just as he wanted. Not sure he was intending to pot the red, but back at the table he is. See a little shake of his head there. Not too happy. And Lee's back at the table already. Just take a look at those 2 yellows next to each other, plant into the middle pocket. He has got a very big pocket to aim at with the yellow over it.
I think if it does, he's going to try and bring the white and put this yellow. But it didn't happen. And now Brian Alcrow we'll be trying to take these reds out now. Where did he put it?
I think he did.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was quick fire, but I think he played it at such pace. He played it into the yellow over the pocket. And yeah, you can see there 6 yellows on the table. And all of a sudden for Lee Ray, this is a bit of an invitation here. A little bit of work to do, but it's doable.
That's the beauty of the rules. You can be looking at skill shot options or looking for some good positional shots. So if you can get the white in anywhere this area, this one goes into there. The problem, of course, is this one. I'm just wondering if that yellow goes past that red into the corner bag. It's mighty tight.
Skill shot's very, very difficult.
Running through.
Oh,
Wow.
that's a heck of a shot. If you can pot this yellow into the middle pocket, that's one of the shots of the night from Lee Ray. Take a look at that cue ball. It's only, of course, a good shot if the next one goes in. Those are the unwritten rules, but that was about as good as he possibly dared hope for with that. It's a brilliant shot, but he needs this. Otherwise it was all in vain.
Yeah.
Doesn't get it.
He couldn't just roll that in dead weight. That was a problem. He had to give it a little bit extra in order for the white to come out for the yellow right into this bottom left as we're looking.
That's the cruel nature of this game. He played probably the shot of the night in knocking that red in and clearing the pocket for himself, but couldn't quite get the one after.
Yeah, it was, you could say he was a little bit unlucky not to leave himself on the one over to the right corner, so he was forced into taking the difficult shot. But yeah, he didn't really threaten the middle bag, unfortunately.
Brian Sluice from here.
You probably just play this with a little bit of left-hand side. Bring the white out into the centre of the table. A little bit short.
Yeah, he's not perfect on this red. Of course, the black doesn't pass the yellow into that corner pocket, so this one has to be precise.
Yeah, he's gone up and down for the black into the right centre, or the bottom middle as we look.
Yeah, he's played that nicely. As we've seen, the middle pockets haven't been a gimme for both players in this game. Just takes his time before settling. Wants to make sure this would put him within touching distance of the final. And it drops. It's 5-3.
Yeah, that's got Brian's big following excited again. They've come to life again after a little bit of a quiet period.
Yeah, tough watch that for Lee Ray, right behind the potting angle. He knew as soon as the ball made contact where that was going. And a good chance now for Brian Halcrow to secure himself a spot in this week 2 final against his old foe Ronan McCarthy.
Yeah, and the winner takes their place alongside pro number 1 Mark Farnsworth in the last 16. see the winner again in about 16 weeks' time.
Yeah, due to the nature of the competition, we do travel the length and breadth to pick our last 16. So the ones we see right at the start do have a little bit of a wait till their next backing action here on FreeSports.
Fortunately, there's plenty of competitions in the meantime coming up.
Oh, absolutely. Plenty to keep them on their toes. And importantly for Brian there, he's got a good break. One's gone down, which of course is important, but that's probably his best break of the match so far in terms of how the balls are spread, and that's exactly when he wanted to do it. He's got a good chance here to put the match out of sight for Lee Ray. He'd have preferred the yellow not stuck to the white not stuck to the red, but does go.
Yeah, be looking to bring the white between the gap. Oh, he's not. I thought he may have tried to hit that a little bit harder and bring the white between the gap, between the black and the red, but he's just left it at the top end of the table. And again, bringing that experience to the table. But unfortunately, didn't do it as a legal shot.
Yeah, he played almost cushion and red at the same time, which is an illegal shot. If it's not a pot, you do have to hit the cushion after you've hit the ball. That's a bit of a sloppy error from Brian Halcrow here, because all of a sudden these yellows look incredibly inviting for Lee, who is a very aggressive player, will look to take them out.
Yeah, didn't hit the red on the way down. Could be a big moment in this match.
It's a good shot there. Good chance for Lee Ray. His problem areas if he's got any.
Yeah, he just needs to make sure he gets on this one. You need a good positional shot. These three at the bottom end are all pretty straightforward. You could even play on it now.
Yeah, it doesn't go to either top corner pocket, so he has to get above it. He has got the angle to do that here.
It's okay.
Yeah, leaves himself a lengthy-ish penultimate pot before the black, but it's not a lot of angle here. He should just be able to hold it.
I think I may have played into this area on this side, but and it needs that. Oh, it's just
got away with one a little bit there, hasn't he?
He's had a little nice touch there, but he needed it. This is going to need some nice cueing. Dead straight, lots of pressure.
He's cued that perfectly. Really punched it in to keep himself alive. There was a lot of pressure on that shot, and Brian Halcrow with the foul has let Lee Ray back into this, and he gets the black to extend this game a little bit further. It's 5-4.
Yeah, nice clearance from Lee there. Had a little bit of good fortune. Could have gone wrong on another day, but always nice to get a nice little bit of running when the cameras are on. And it's going to be Lee to break.
Yeah, good chance here. Very good chance of him taking us to a decider, which will be the first time in this Champions Cup. We've had some close games, but yet to see a full decider.
And it did look like going to a decider probably about 5 or 6 frames ago.
Yeah, this match has been on the longer side for a very short format. Plenty of tactical frames. Self-inflicted as well, it should be added. They've particularly Brian has looked to make Lee play tactically, as it seems to be his game plan to make him work that little bit harder for the frames, but Lee has acquitted himself really well. That's not the greatest break though.
It's an awful break. He's just not hitting them. You know, he's just trying to.
I mean, the ball was spinning an awful lot there, but it didn't really have the initial power.
Yeah.
Didn't get into that at all. And
as we get later into the competition and we see the likes of new world champion Ben Davis and Craig Marsh, Simon Ward, these guys are going to be absolutely murdering this pack. And you know, I think maybe that's sometimes the difference. You know, you do need a big break. It's such an important shot. And yeah, it's like Lee's just trying to place it. He's not just not letting his arm go.
yeah, it's his second dry break of this match, and does give Brian Halker an opportunity. He won't want
That
to
needs
pop
to
that.
reach. It needs to reach a cushion.
And it's going to be a foul. Well, they wanted to jaw that, Brian Halcrow.
Yeah, what Lee might try to do. Just watch this replay. When the red was on the wrong line, he would have been aiming for the knuckles. He could try to pop this ball and send the white into this cluster to try and disturb them.
So, mate, he's almost looking to second break here.
Yeah.
He didn't do the greatest of jobs with the first one. Yeah, absolutely. You can see there, match length, 87 minutes.
No, he's not looking at that shot. He's maybe a little bit worried about that black popping out and maybe finding a bag somewhere, which would be end of match. But you know, Lee's a great potter, and you know, he's almost got drawn into Brian's type of match. I would have liked to have seen him, you know, maybe just push the boat a little bit, but it's easy from the commentary box. You know, he's fighting for his life in this competition, so fully understandable.
That might not drop, it doesn't. But he won't be too fussed about that. We are drawn into another tactical battle here. This could go either way because there's so few balls to play with here. Eventually, they're going to have to spread the pack apart a little bit. Like that.
Where's that yellow going? He's covered two bags in one shot there.
But I don't think Lee will mind that one bit because he's now got total control over the bottom of the table.
Yeah, and usually in any frame of pool, if you've got control of those bottom two corner bags, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be in control of the frame. And that's exactly what he's done there now, so he's just trying to free up his yellows.
You'd have to make Lee huge favourite to win the frame at this point. And that's why Brian is trying to force his way back into it by snookering Lee and forcing him into an error. Just having a look and see if there's a... Yeah, total snooker is called.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Brian approaches this frame, because it's the first time he's not been in control of any of the frames. And now Lee's in the box seat. It's going to be interesting to see if he maybe attacks a little bit more.
Needs to make sure he hits. He does. As we heard from the referee, he was totally snookered, which means he doesn't have to hit a cushion after hitting the ball. Gives him a little bit more leeway to play that at the pace he did. Again, he doesn't really give Brian a huge amount of options, because whilst the two balls, yes, are very potable at the top of the table, he's got absolutely nothing down the other end. This is a really difficult frame if you're Brian Halcrow.
Yeah, sending the white off the bottom rail. He's got to make sure he hits a cushion.
Well, that's a clever shot. I just wonder, actually, he was taking a little look at the pack beforehand. I wonder if he was seeing if any of the balls were going to head on up to knock that red over the pocket. It's turned out really nicely for him, that.
Yeah, now what he's going to be looking at now is 2 skill shots. So he's going for the skill shot on this one. And because those yellows are so far in the jaw, it should be fairly easy, just like that.
You notice there, that's the way to play them. Play them with backspin, that's the screw shot, because that would then impart top spin on the object ball and try and force the one over the pocket into the pocket. It's a difficult shot. He played that one really nicely. And all of a sudden, having been the rank outsider in this frame, Brian Halcrow is right back in it. Still got a difficult red though, in the centre of the table near the black spot. She's looking to free up here. Is he looking for another skill shot?
It's another skill shot.
This would really put the cat amongst pigeons. Doesn't get it. And that's where the difficulty lies. That there is an element, a huge element of skill in the skill shot, but there is also the element of chance, because as soon as 2 balls are hitting each other, there's never a way you can fully predict the outcome.
That's right. That was a far harder one. The yellow wasn't quite in the jaws as the other ball was on the left-hand corner. It's a nice shot from Lee.
Big opportunity then for Lee Ray to send us into a decider. We've ticked over the 90-minute mark. Hour and a half these two have been going at it here in Washington.
Yeah, just slightly let the white run away from him a bit there, but pot's no problem. He's played that well. He's played on this one below the black.
Yeah, just surveying his options. Should be relatively straightforward from here. He has to play everything well.
Just going to bounce this one up off the cushion, maybe 2 or 3 inches.
Has he got enough on it?
I think he's short.
Has he got enough on it? If he's left himself short, it's a huge mistake. Oh, I think you can maybe just see it. It's close, this. He can just get past it. You can see there, perfect angle.
He's on it.
Well, he gets away with it. He'd almost shot himself in the foot there, Lee Ray. But it looks like we are now heading to a decider. It's going to be 5-5.
Twitchy black. There it goes.
Use it well. And we will indeed go to the deciding frame. 5 frames apiece. Well, well, well.
Well, we called it some time back. It had all the makings of a 5-all. There's neutrals. That's the best possible outcome. Not for Brian Halcrow's army of supporters.
They'd have wanted this to be done a long time ago. 3-0 up he was, Brian Halcrow. Lee Ray has fought back really well. This is the key shot. Had to cue that right. Very nearly gave himself no chance on it. Brian Halcrow has the break though, which is important in the decider. Nice to see a shake of hands between the two. Big break this for Brian Halcrow. Will want a good one, because as comfortable as he's been in drawing Lee into a safety battle, he'd love to break and dish.
And we noticed when Brian was on the defensive in that last frame that he did start to look at taking the attacking options. Played that white off the bottom rail to smash the ball, smash the long planting. And he's going to like the look of these.
Yeah, good chance here for Brian Halcrow. We'll be looking at the reds. I think.
Yeah, and he's got to go for these. I don't think he wants to get into a safety battle. All these reds are out in the open.
There's no real problem, is there? I think you can see.
It's all between the ears.
He'll call his extension. He just wants to double check everything. Good shout from the crowd there. How are Brian? One of his supporters trying to hurry him along. He's a big favourite at this point. Just has to do the job. As you mentioned, no real problem balls. The only ball that's blocked off is by his own colour. It's pretty straightforward. Pot into the bottom left.
He wouldn't mind potting both balls with this shot, to be honest, so that he can leave this one that's near the black spot. You see, this is going to be his first problem. If he'd have potted both then, and the white had come a bit more to the right hand side, he could have then just potted the one into bottom left and gone up to play the red near the black. But now he's got another plant to play. Unless he can, if he can see the one over the pocket direct, then he's going to play that.
Yeah, looks like he is.
And then the red nearest the black spot, probably into the right centre. So this pot will be straightforward, but it'll be the shot afterwards that will potentially win in the match. Has he missed the pot?
Oh, he has.
He's missed the pot.
Well, in holding for the red to the top left, that might have cost him. You can just see there he's perfect on the red up to the top left. And putting that white ball there, you can see there what it means. It might cost him the match.
That's probably the worst shot he's played in 12 months.
Big opportunity for Lee Ray here. As soon as he saw that break, and he even had a little bit of a stand up to see the full lie of the table. As soon as he saw that, he'd been fearing the worst. But now, what an opportunity.
It's all about holding himself together. Make no mistake, there's a lot of pressure on these guys.
Will he be wanting to develop the black in some way?
No, he's going to pot this. His last yellow will be this bottom right hand one that we saw on shot there, and that'll leave the black into the left middle. But he's a bit undercooked on that one. You can feel the pressure out there. I tell you what, he used all the back there.
He did indeed. Just played it with enough pace so that it would drop any harder, and I think he was missing that one. It just goes to show, especially in the deciders, even the easy ones aren't easy ones.
It's not easy for the commentators, let alone the players. Light another 6-inch on that one. I think he's got to. He can take the one into the left middle, but it's not perfect for either ball.
It will be the one into the left middle. Wants to spin back, wants that to keep spinning. Oh, it's a tough shot, this.
Short. It's a foot short.
Now, the issue he's got is, it's not only a tougher shot, this next one on the yellow, but the white is going to be on the move. It's a thin cut. He's probably going to have to swing back across a couple of times to leave himself on the black. Gets it right, he wins it.
He's got the pot. He's played it well.
He's played it really well. So Lee Ray is one shot away here. It looks straightforward.
I can tell you now that middle bag will look about the size of, half the size of it normally is.
But he gets it, and Lee Ray has secured his place in tonight's final, and didn't he really have to work for it? Brian Halcrow had the opportunities, but couldn't quite secure his place. He even had the opportunities in the final frame. There we go, the final stats. It was ever so close, but Lee Ray got his way in the end.
Yeah, the stats tell a story, but I think Brian will be really disappointed with that performance. 3-0 up, he looked to be in complete control, and you know, my only comment is that he was probably a little bit too negative. You know, Brian Halcrow is a top quality player, and I just don't think he brought his A game, unfortunately.
Lee Ray will be up next. He will face Ronan McCarthy in tonight's final, and that's next. Yeah, welcome back to Washington, here with the winner of our semi-final, Lee Ray. Lee, you were made to work very, very hard for that. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel great. Yeah, I'm happy I brought it back from 3-0 down. I felt from the beginning of the match I couldn't really get my arm in and I couldn't start potting because Bry was so tight with me. He just kept taking control. Got, I think, 4-3. I brought it back. I had to try and make something happen, and it failed. And he went 5-3 up, and once again I just had to keep plugging away. And Bry had a few unexpected misses there, like the last frame. He missed that red, which was a crucial ball. But I think that's just, boils down to the pressure I put him under.
We were saying actually in the commentary, when Brian had the break that he did in that last frame, did you think at that point you weren't going to get another shot?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, like Bry straight away noticed reds was the balls to take control, even if he wanted to go that way. But yeah, he went the right way. He went for the right shots, and just like I say, that unexpected miss at the end. So yeah, I'm happy to scrape through, really, considering I was 3-0 down.
And in terms of the final, what are your thoughts?
I feel comfortable now, actually. Now I've had my hand on the table, I feel like I can get going, and I know that Ronan's more open and a more attacking kind of style player, so hopefully the balls go my way.
Well, I wish you all the very best of luck.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. Ta-ra.
Thank you very much to Lee, and let's see how he got there. Well, there we go. That's how Lee Ray secured his place in this match. A game against Ronan McCarthy to decide who moves through into the next round of the Champions Cup. Stephen Jamieson here, back with you. James Hannay back with me in the commentary box here. And James, first of all, what did you make to that second semi-final? A right Royal Rumble.
Well, I saw every shot because I was on the shot clock. So yeah, it was a proper ding dong. Yes, and Brian looked like he was cruising at the start, but Lee battled away and came through at the end. Did not believe Brian was going to miss that red to the middle though.
No, well, we just heard from Lee there. He thought he was done for when that break came out for Brian Halcrow, but he got his chance, and credit to him, took it when it mattered the most. And in an interesting sense, the way he's had to play there to get over the line, he's had to play a lot. It was over 90 minutes that match for a first to six, which is a long old time.
Oh, very much, yeah.
He's had a lot of time to get his hand on the table, get his eye in, get used to the table. Ronan's actually had a long break, actually.
Ronan's been he's been down in the coffees. Yes, he's been over there watching. He was watching avidly in the corner, over to the left of the screen, and yeah, he was seeing what he was up against, and he knows he's got a game on.
It'll be Ronan to break first, and it will be first to six in this final. Race to six format continues. Ronan McCarthy barrels straight down the middle with the break. He was excellent in the first match, never let him down. He'd like that to remain the same. Gets it away really well. A little unfortunate with how that's come out, I think.
Yeah,
Looks
so
a little bit stuck.
red ball down in the corner. Yeah, he didn't hit the front ball quite as square on as he wanted to. He likes to hit the front ball and comes straight back up over the spot that he breaks from, but he caught it just to the left as he was looking, and White came off a couple of cushions and got kicked, but he luckily didn't go in off.
Yeah, and you can see there he did just how he caught it to one side, because all the balls have pretty much gone to one side of the table.
Yes, yeah, he's going to take the plant of yellows, which is a tough plant.
Yeah, it really wasn't easy. He's played that really well, and he really wanted to pot that because yellows are far easier than reds.
Very much so, very much so. His other option, if he had gone reds, was the red nearest to the right centre. He could have played in off the yellow and used the yellow to disturb the two on the rail, but didn't need to. He took that plant on very well. So that's perfect. He didn't want to be straight on this one. If he'd have rolled over to the spot, he would have been in some bother. But he's left himself a nice angle just to drop this yellow in and bring the white down the table.
Well, we saw actually in the first game, the first semi-final that Ronan McCarthy played against Stuart Wright, and he came flying out the blocks. Looked like he'd just been on the table for 2 hours when he never showed any indication of settling into the match, and that's exactly the same in this scenario.
That's right, yes. He's going to want to drop this yellow in with lots and lots of left-hand side here. He's really going to have to pinch the white ball to keep it straight. He's just used the red. No, that's a lovely shot. Lovely shot. He can just roll this yellow down the rail, and it will leave him perfect on the yellow to the left centre. He's just looking now. He wants the white for the next ball, just by the black to the left centre, which will leave him the last yellow down at the bottom to the same pocket he's potting this one. So nice and smooth queuing through. That's absolutely perfect. Got a slight angle just to let the white drift over the racking spot. Perfect. Oh, you missed the pot. Oh.
Well,
He was so focused on position for his next ball there, he went narrow on the pot. So
we have seen players tonight struggle with a few shots into the middle pocket. And Ronan McCarthy was guilty of a couple of misses in his first game tonight. And Lee Ray with an opportunity here to get himself back into this frame. It's not going to be easy from here, though.
no, just pop those reds out and snooker on this bottom yellow. That was the key. Leaving Ronan part of the one by the middle, which he obviously won't play because the white would only have one place to go, straight in the pocket. So he's left him this one down the bottom he's snookered on, but he has to hit a cushion afterwards. So he can't just trickle up behind it.
Yeah, it seemed like a pretty basic shot that for Lee Ray, but there's a lot behind it.
There you go. Oh, Ronan.
Well, could that have gone any better for him?
He played that as well. I mean, the man doesn't hit balls that hard without purpose behind it. So that was brilliant.
Wonderful shot from Ronan McCarthy.
And this yellow will cut. It's just a case of where the white's going to go. Oh,
how's your luck?
Got unlucky. Yeah, no. Well, he's got one out shot here, and that is across the table. Oh, let me have a look. Across the table, if he's snookered, and then try and hit into the side of this black. It may well go in there. Alternatively, it may go across here and over there. So he won't be hitting this soft.
Would be a champagne finish to this game, put it that way.
Well, as you can see, what the referee's done there, lining these whites up, for all those viewers there, because the white in the middle is right at the centre line, that shows it's not a total snooker. So he's put a plain white, that one is moving there, against the red, at the point at which the proper white will pass. Here we go.
And he's just using this just for his own vision, just to check how much of an edge he can possibly see.
May well be off of that one. Just to see the path that the white will pass. It's very often an optical illusion because the white ball is smaller than the other balls. All the playing balls are 2 inches in diameter, and the white ball is 1 7/8. So for all you players out there playing in the pubs with the ball return systems, wondering why the white comes out one end and all the other balls go into the rack, that's why.
Wow.
So Ronan forced that. No,
Well, he had to play it at that pace.
he did, but the difficulty there, and if you had an ultra slow-mo, we could have seen that he's hit it hard down on it. The white was jumping, so I think it actually jumped over the edge of the black. So
Let's see. Here we go.
look,
Real
it's jumping,
slow-mo.
and that's going to bounce over the edge. That was a great visual aid there to see that white. As soon as he struck it, that white lifted about 10 millimeters off the table.
Well, foul is called, no doubt about that. Barreled straight into that bottom corner, and now you have to make Lee a huge favourite for the frame. Be a great start for him.
It will be, yes. He just needs to keep his head. So playing this one down here, he's going to screw back and probably play the plant to the middle if he doesn't come back far enough. Yep. Nice and easy plant. He's got a bit of an angle, so the white should run round. Both players faced with challenges here. Ronan's had a bit of a break, so he may have gone a bit cold, but Lee's also had a bit of a battle, so he's straight back on. So should be tough for both for different reasons. That's a nice little shot there from Lee.
Yeah, he's played that nicely.
So he's going to try and screw off of this one and give himself a nice clean shot at the bottom. Oh,
Wow.
that is so unfortunate.
Can't legislate for that as a player.
No, that's playing shots into those middle pockets hard with a little bit of side on it. It can spit out easily. Yeah, he didn't hit the middle of the pocket either, so
Well,
bit tricky. This one could go in off, but no, he played it well.
Ronan
Played it well.
McCarthy judges that one to perfection. Lee Ray will be so frustrated not to have got the tally next to his name on that frame after Ronan McCarthy presented him with the opportunity.
Yeah, he puffs out his cheeks there. He knew he got away with one there, so that was very unlucky for Lee. And Ronan didn't expect to be going into the next frame one up.
Well, the balance in that frame changed about 4 or 5 times, didn't it? It really did. And Ronan McCarthy initially should have been the huge favourite to take that one. All we needed was a positional shot on the black, and it was his frame. That didn't quite go to plan. He then went straight into the pocket with the white. Lee Ray then had the frame at his mercy. And he got a bounce out.
Yeah, that was. Don't think he needed to play that quite so hard then either. He could have gone up and just run it out of bulk, but that's a better strike for Lee. Yellow in the middle bag.
Yeah, it was. He was struggling a little with his break in the game against Brian, and that's far more like it. It looks like he's almost throwing caution to the wind in that sense with that break.
Yes, I mean I was sat perfectly side on with the on the shot clock in the first match, and Lee's break, the couple of breaks later on in the match, he was hitting with excessive amounts of topspin, and the white was spinning off the pack and back in, and he wasn't getting enough power into the balls. But that one there, he's played it below centre on the white, and it's really split them nicely. So red ball taken. That's a well played shot. He's cued that very nicely.
Yeah, in the corners you've got a little bit more leeway to play it with a bit more pace.
Yes, yeah, but playing it through with a lot of topspin and side to bring it out, that's tough. Now this is the cushion that Lee played a double in his first match, and from where I was sat you could see the red went very, very wide before, so he's going to be a little bit hesitant with this double, but he may go a bit narrow and see what happens.
Yeah, he did.
He's played that well, yes.
It's a great shot.
He allowed for it nicely.
You could tell in the angle he approached that with, he definitely played it short.
Yes, without doubt, yeah, and it widened out lovely to the pocket. So well played.
Yeah, just that little bit of slide. You can almost see the ball dragging itself across as we look at it.
brand new cloth do that.
Well, that's one thing Lee will have to his advantage. He's played for over an hour and a half on this table.
Yes.
He's got no excuse for not being used to it now.
No, that's right. That's right. He's had lots of varying games of tactics, all out attack and defensive snookers and everything. Ronan's been pretty open ball. That was a nicely played shot. Lots of left hand side to bring that white out square.
We have seen that really been an issue for some players, particularly into that middle pocket when they play it with a lot of side. Don't seem to be very forgiving, these middle pockets here tonight.
No, they're not. That was well played. So he's going to play this to the left centre. Hopefully a little softer than before, but he needs to stun across between roughly where he's pointing then, because the red in the middle of the table has to go down to the bottom left. So smooth cueing. The better he hits this, the softer he can hit it. Yeah, he's hit that very well.
He played that perfectly, hasn't he? Just passes the yellow.
He didn't want it quite as far across the table. I mean, dead straight would have been ideal, but yeah, so he's going to have to come up table a little bit, but black will be a bit longer than he wanted. There we go.
It is a longer shot than he would have wanted, but it is a pretty straightforward one here for Lee Ray. This to tie things up at 1 apiece. Oh, would you believe it? Would you believe it?
Ronan. Lee. Yeah, he just snatched at that one, unfortunately. You see the cue pinching at the white, didn't cue through it smoothly.
A shake of the head, a rueful shake of the head.
Hoping for another go in this frame to level up the scores.
Whether he gets one is the question. Lee Ray right now could be sitting down 2-0 up.
Yeah,
he could also in 5 minutes be 2-0 down. Shot clock ticking. He's just going to use his extension here, Ronan McCarthy.
Yes.
Not going to take any chances.
I was all fingers and thumbs with the system earlier on, trying to get the extensions right and clearing them at the end of frames. Hope it all came out okay on screen.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's good. I was worried. So Ronan should drop this one in the bottom corner and use the one by the left centre to go up the top of the table. There we go. He'll just nick this ball in and just drift in between the other two yellows for the yellow in bulk to the top left. That should be his chosen route. There we go.
It's made for slightly awkward queuing, only slightly.
Yeah, he's...
Has to be wary. We did see a shot from Lee in the last game where his cue slightly deviated from centre and knocked the ball next to him.
Yeah, it's just where he had to play it with a little bit too much power. If he didn't have to hit it so hard, that shot, he would have been fine. But
well, this has been ruthless from Ronan.
yes, and it wasn't just the missed black; it was where the white flicked that yellow out off the side cushion as well, leaving the yellows a drop in. He's overhit that one.
Well, we saw this with Lee a little earlier. It was a slightly more difficult black than he would have liked, and it went missed. Ronan would like to avoid a similar fate.
Now, Ronan just stood up on that because he wants to play this with screw here, and the corner knuckle is starting to get in his way. So he wants to play with screw to avoid the middle bag of the white. There you go. Played it well.
Played it really well, and that's 2-0 to Ronan McCarthy. Well, what a let-off for Ronan. He could well be 2-0 down. In the end, he's 2-0 up.
The natural angle with that white was straight in that centre bag, so yeah, Ronan had to elevate the butt end of the cue there just to bring the white away from that middle. But it was well played. It's tough cueing a black to a blind pocket as well there, so it was well played.
Oh, how crucial could that start be? It's the perfect start for Ronan McCarthy. And given the circumstances, the worst possible start for Lee.
There goes Stuart just coming back from the bar with a couple of pints. So he's still here enjoying the evening.
Well, he's only got a 10-minute stumble home later on. He could barely be closer to this venue, could Stuart.
That's right. It's yes, Ronan to break.
Yeah, good to see he's enjoying his night. He was a little bit nervous when we spoke to him before the start of play this evening, and I think those nerves did show a little bit in his first game, but he seems to have really enjoyed himself this evening, which is good to see. White's on the move, but it looks like it's going to be safe. Whether he can pot a ball is a different issue, but...
Yes, 2 reds in the bottom corners. Now, the red running down the side of the table there, just a case of, is the knuckle going to be in the way? No, it's not. So he does have a red to that corner available to him now.
No, he has to be precise here, because the yellows pretty much all gathered in the spine down the table do provide a big obstacle to all of these reds, so he's going to have to be precise.
Yes. See, the red now, the bottom right of those 4, the one that he's on, was the only trouble ball really, because he could only play into that pocket with any sort of good position. Right centre would have been too tough to get on, and he's gone to get himself on it now, but he's unfortunately hampered with those 2 yellows. So we'll try and run the white in between these 3 yellows, so actually between the bottom 2, to come round bottom cushion and left side to come up for the next 3 reds. So he'll take his extension here. Right, okay.
Well, an interesting development. Chooses the one to the left. Didn't like the queuing, I don't think, on the one bottom right.
He's cued that very nicely. So, red to the corner. He wants to stun the white and stop it pretty much exactly where the red is. So he wants to be roughly there, so he can almost straight really on the last red to the centre to give him good positional play. So he just wants to run this through a foot, maybe 18 inches.
Yeah, he has to be precise here, because there's not a huge margin for error. Too much and he's not on it, too little he's not on it. Has to be perfect, and he is.
Yes.
Lovely shot.
Yeah, very nice, yes.
Simple screw back from the black, and this is going to be 3-0 in no time at all for Ronan McCarthy.
There we go.
Beautifully done. 3-zip, but he's done exactly what he did in his first semi-final. The difference is while Stuart Wright didn't have a shot to play in those first 3 frames of the semi-final, Lee Ray did, and that'll be the regret for Lee. But we saw it in his semi-final. 3-0 down is not really an obstacle for Lee Ray. He's done it before. He'll hope to do it again.
Exactly. Well, just going to pinch Ronan's drink. Yep.
You'll be thinking, why do I have to make this so difficult for myself?
Yeah, it's very tough. So, I'm sure Lee will hit this with hard stun or slide him in a screw on the white, not topping into it as he did before in his last match, because he got a very nice break, his first break of this game. So here we go.
He did. We'll be hoping to repeat it.
There we go.
It's much more like it from Lee Ray on the break, isn't it? It's just like a totally different player.
That's right, one of each there. So you've got yellow in the bottom corner and a red. So yellows look good.
They do
Drop in the
indeed.
middle bag. Drop in the middle bag starter, and then away we go. Because that black passes the red to the bottom right. There we go. So, a chance for Lee to get his name on the scoreboard.
Which, as you look at this table now here, James, you really think he should.
Definitely. Definitely. So he's just looking to mop these three yellows at the top of the table up. Get rid of those 3. So we go to the top corner now. Maybe he'll come down this bottom half actually and play the top two to give himself a good angle on the black. So there we go.
Used every millimetre of the pocket there to create as much of an angle as possible.
Yeah, made that black easier as well, which is nice. So he has a tough angle on this yellow to the left of your screen because there's no route for the white to come out. You're forcing it through, it will slide and hit one of those two reds. So he's going up top of the table.
Yeah, that's a reroute here. Leroy has to get that right. Did.
Yes. That's nice.
Now he has to leave himself a good angle on this last yellow to get on the black.
Yeah, so this will be forced through with top right here. So he'll be hitting the top right hand quarter of the white ball. So you see him queuing up there, the top right. So baulk cushion, and then it's got to come down straight down the line. There we go. Lovely shot. Now, this could go wrong. This is the
It
worry.
certainly could. This is a difficult shot.
Because the white is going to clip into a red here, and what he doesn't want to do is clip the bottom red across and block the black to the bottom right corner. So he's looking to screw into the red. If he screws off of that yellow into the red to flick the white up table for the black, then the red should be hit hard enough to get out of the way. Oh no, he's flicked. Oh. Total snookered himself.
Well, I think he's tried to play for the black into the middle pocket.
Yes.
And I think if he could do that shot again, he'd do it another way.
Yes.
He's taking a look to see if he can possibly play a really unlikely shot, which would be a double back heel, I think this would be called.
Cross here, ball, yeah. Oh.
Well, will it go all the way up the cushion?
No, but you'll take that. If it blocks that red, which it has.
And he might well have left this, left it safe as well. So Ronan can't make a pot here. I mean, he can put him in a world of trouble.
Yeah.
but it's about as good as Leroy could hope that went, I think.
If I was a gambling man, I think he would. There we go. I just won my bet for myself.
This is not an easy one to get out of.
No.
Now, do you think he was trying to cut that, or do you think he was trying to play behind it?
He was trying to hit it a little bit more full and try and get it bouncing across the table a few times, hoping for one of those pockets in the middle. But this is tough. Lots of left-hand side. That was as close as he could get. He had to play it right to the middle bag, and he had to get lots and lots of left-hand side to check the white out, because otherwise it would have just missed by more than that. That was tough.
Yeah, it was a nigh on impossible snooker to get out of, I think, there for Lee.
Yeah.
You see there by his face, not too impressed, but it was about all he could do. Big opportunity then here for Ronan to make this 4-0.
Yes.
Whenever you see the ball in hand of Ronan, you know it could be game over. And you see these 6 reds here. This is almost like practice session stuff.
Yeah, he'll just play this one to the bottom right pocket to get on the bottom one. Get rid of those two. There we go. And he'll have enough angle now to play this one and just come off the bottom cushion and land on the side pocket, side cushion. There we go. That's that's textbook.
He's on form. He is brilliant player to watch.
Yeah.
Makes everything look just so simple.
Yes.
And that's the sign of a good player. Often they don't have to play very good pots because their positional shot play is so good.
Exactly. You very often hear people say the best players make it look so easy. Well, they do, because they don't leave themselves tough shots. See, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. You can just roll this in and it'll be perfect angle last red just to draw the white back up for the black.
Yeah, it almost creates an interesting paradox, doesn't it? That the best players don't tend to be the best potters because they just don't need to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cue ball control is everything, and Ronan McCarthy has had this ball on a string in this frame. Since he put that ball down, it has been choreographed to the millimetre.
Yes.
And he's going to go 4-0 in front. And that
There we
will
go.
sting Lee Ray.
Yes. Oh, that's his nickname as well, so that'll hurt him.
Pun wasn't intended there, Lee. But just looking at the stats here, it's incredible. Lee's had 19 potted balls, and he's 4-0 down.
Wow. Yeah. I think that's what he's wondering himself.
He's thinking, what else do I need to do here? Here we take a look at the stats. 19 balls potted, and not a single frame to his name.
Yeah, none of them were blacks, that's the problem.
Well, quite. He's been pretty consistent on his break as well, so you can't necessarily blame that. It's just been the missed pots which have cost him.
That's right, it's having that last ball being really tough to get position, and he, when he snooked himself on the black in that frame, it's so tough.
So Ronan here with a chance if he can get himself a good break, which he's been pretty consistently good at doing.
That's the break. That's Ronan's break. The white straight back up the table.
That's an interesting lie here, because whilst they spread really nicely, they've almost all sprung back together as well.
Yeah. Now, if the yellow just to the right of the red as we're looking, bottom of the table, passes the red, then yellows look really good. I think Ronan's just having a quick look to see what's there.
Yeah, it will be yellows.
Yeah.
The choice for Ronan.
Yeah. So he'll play the one just above the black now. Run through 4 or 5 inches for the one just above the red on the right. And once he's potted that one through, then it should be a case of just tapping them in then.
Yeah, I think it's one of those lies which perhaps looks almost more complicated than it is.
Yes.
It requires very good cue ball control, but when you've got it, as Ronan McCarthy does, he'll fancy himself here.
So he fancied the top one just to give himself more options. It's interesting because I was talking to Brian Harcrow straight after his game, and he said to me, "What do you think happened there with that red to the middle?" I said, "I missed it," but no, he said, I think the clearance was too easy for him, really. Brian is a player that when his back's against the wall, he doesn't miss. When he's got to really focus 100% on the clearance because it's tough, he pulls it out virtually every time. But I think he just lost concentration. It was almost too easy, and that's
a brilliant little shot from Ronan.
That's a cultured little flick there. Yeah, but that was with Brian. I think it was just too easy, and he just took his eye off the ball.
Thought twice about cueing that one, but played it really nicely.
He was just blocked that yellow closest to the white into the bottom left there with that. But he shouldn't need it, because just run this, play this yellow, the left of the 3 there, and leave the white roughly where he's cueing. He'll be able to play the one just by the black to the middle and go past the black for the one he's nearest to into this bottom left again. So that's what he's looking at.
Oh, is he just going to stab this one into the top corner?
That is tough.
Needs to get the line absolutely spot on.
Yeah, he's got it.
Did. Oh,
Yeah, that was
what a good little shot that is. That was far more difficult than it looked.
very much so. Yes.
Because
Black goes everywhere. Yeah.
because in leaving it, if it's not a difficult shot per se if he didn't have to control the white, because it's a pretty straight line.
Yes.
But to leave the white, he had to stun the shot, and that required unbelievable cue control.
Yes. Now he can pop this yellow with bottom left, just trace left to centre, and he'll flick the black across. There we go.
Wow, this has been a masterclass from Ronan McCarthy this frame. A break and dish, but one that was not obvious nor easy from the outset, and he has made it look both terrific from Ronan McCarthy.
Just those little nudges he plays that most players wouldn't notice, that make things so much easier for him.
Well, tremendous performance in the final so far from Ronan McCarthy. He gave Lee Ray some opportunities early on, but since then has really put the hammer down, and Ronan McCarthy is one frame away from booking himself into the next round of the Champions Cup. We'll see if he can make himself available in round 2 after the break. Welcome back to Washington. What could be the final frame of the night. It's Ronan McCarthy 5, Lee Ray nothing, as we head into the second session of the final. Ronan McCarthy 1 frame away. Stephen Jameson and James Hannay on the commentary with you here, and James Lee has been down 3-zip in his semi-final. This is a slightly different proposition, mind.
It is. You know you've got to win 6-0 from here, and if he's got the break, and he's got his break working now as well. So hopefully he can get a quick breaking dish here, and hopefully make Ronan think about it a bit more. And if Ronan makes a mistake, all of a sudden Lee's got 2 on the board and could have a game on.
Yeah, that was pretty much what happened in the semi-final. Lee Ray found himself 3-0 down, backs against the wall. It was 3-3 before you knew it. And it's as you mentioned there, James, his break has been working really well for him in this match in particular. Didn't in the semi-final, wasn't working at all, but in the final, it's been working well. It's the missed pots which have cost him.
Yes.
It's cost him dear.
Yes. Here we go. Straight down the middle of the Lee again now.
Needs a good one.
Yeah.
You can see the power.
Yeah.
And it's going to come up dry, which is exactly what he didn't want. And Lee will be fearful here. He just took a second to survey the table, but he will be pretty fearful that he's played his last shot with the competition.
Yeah, that white, you can see it as soon as he hit the front red, jumped in the air. So Ronan will be looking at red balls here, and he's got one problem, middle of the table. So will he try and land on it straight away, play it to the top corner? Develops it. There we go.
And we were actually just chatting off air there in the break, James, about just how good that last clearance from Ronan was. And the reason why is because there were so many difficult shots, fiddly little cannons that he played so well. And that's another example there. Just little shot, doesn't seem to be a huge deal, but all of a sudden that red now is available.
Yes, and that's Ronan. You see him do this all the time. If he's got a problem ball, he will virtually, without fail, gets it out first shot.
Played it absolutely beautifully, really did. And this is the ball that he's on now into the middle pocket.
There we go. Took a bit of extra time now queuing that one, realising that was pretty much game ball.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be too many issues now for Ronan McCarthy left. He's just looking at where he wants to leave the white for the ball in the bottom left. But at this point, it's difficult to see Ronan McCarthy on the form he's been on. He's played so well all the way through this night.
He's played very nicely. Yeah, the angle he left himself on the red on the right was just going to put the white on the cushion. He didn't want that, so now decided to go another way about it.
And that's something all the best players have the ability to do is
Yeah.
reroute on demand.
There we go. So now he's got an angle on this red, just to bring the white down to where he's going to put his cue. He didn't, but bring the white down the table fractionally, so he can play the red to the bottom corner and let the white come up by the middle bag for the black into the pocket he's just potted in.
This is the key shot to the frame. He needs to get this right, but the way he's been playing, you don't doubt that he will.
Here we go. That's the way. And he's dead straight.
Well, this has been a masterclass from Ronan McCarthy. He's played so well, and he takes the win by 6 frames to 0. Absolutely brilliant.
Yes, it was amazing.
Just like that, really.
Yeah, Lee's scratching his head, thinking, what could I have done? And really, apart from breaking the dishes every frame he had,
In the early going, he had his opportunities, and that's where the only regrets will be. You can see he potted 19 balls, and to not take a frame, having potted that many, there may be some regrets for Lee Ray, particularly in the early frames. But Ronan McCarthy, in the last 3 frames in particular, was just unstoppable.
yes, I mean that 19 pots from Lee, that was by 4 frames he'd potted 19, so the last 2 he didn't even get one.
Didn't get a shot.
No.
Ronan McCarthy, ruthless McCarthy, takes the win. We'll find out just how he did it after the break. Welcome back to Washington. Joined now with the winner of Week 2 of the FreeSports Champions Cup, Ronan McCarthy. First of all, how do you feel?
I feel good. I feel like I played well. I played a bit better in that match. I missed an easy ball in the middle of the first frame, and to be honest, he really let me off the hook. He should have been 2-0 up, and when he missed that black in the second frame, I thought, well, he's definitely under a bit of pressure here, so sort of gave me a wee bit more confidence, and I didn't really miss anything after that, so good. I'm happy with the way I played, yeah.
Specifically towards the latter end of that match, you seemed to play with so much freedom, and once you were 3-0 up, the last 3 frames were rattled off in no time at all. You seem to be playing really well.
Yeah, well, there's nothing gives you confidence like your opponent missing, and when he missed that easy black, because I just thought it was one each, and I looked around and he had missed the black, and you sort of get then that, well, he's struggling here, and everybody sort of buzzes off their opponent's misses, so I was happy in the end, the way, especially after missing the ball in the first frame that I should never ever miss. So it's good to come through, especially 6-0, 6-0. I think maybe the boys felt a wee bit sorry for me because it's my birthday and that. Maybe it was a wee present.
Well, absolutely. How do you reflect on your time so far in the Champions Cup? Are you looking forward to round 2?
It couldn't have went any better, and that's me in the last 16 now, so if I keep playing the way I played in that second match, it'll be hard to beat, because I'm breaking well, and you know yourself at this level, if you break well, I feel like I've every chance of beating anybody if I break well, but if I don't, anybody can beat me, so it's just down to the breaks, really.
Well, we can't wait to see you later on in the last 16. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
And let's take a look at just how he did it. Well, that was how Ronan McCarthy did it. He is the winner in Week 2 of the IPA Pool Champions Cup. We hope you've enjoyed your time with us here on FreeSports. It's been another wonderful evening of pool on this channel, and we can't wait to do it all over again next week in Cardiff. We will see you then. Same time, slightly different place. From Wales at 7 o'clock next Monday. From everyone here in Washington, very good night.